Shout out to all the VIP guys. This is London. This is the Crypto Kingdom. And guys, it's the kingdom, right? And Bitcoin Spike. Just excited to have you all here. I'm a former financial professional. Introductions first. Settle in. It's going to be a great stream. Guys, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. And I'm kind of excited to an extent. I have to tell you, you'll see this. And as you flow and hit the like button, please appreciate that. Also, go ahead and shout out in the comments. I want to know who is watching. It is late at night, right? Early in the morning. What's the deal about crypto? We're up. We're not up 24/7, but the market's up 24/7. We always eat well, sleep well, all that good stuff. But I do make sure that we cover the market. Absolutely. I'm excited to an extent, guys. I want to talk about the price action. As you will recall, first of all, it was front and center like I don't know, guys, like a national championship coach yesterday was. We like value at lower prices, period. There's zero question about it. BTC took a little bit of a nosedive, okay, 38,775, not at all a problem, just not a problem here. Some people will react and say, well, just they'll run frantically around. Shout out to Angel in the top. Angel's been around since $7.79, okay, invested in Bitcoin. He understands the importance of value in the market. We understood it at 29,750 when we found, bam, an ascending triangle in the back, right, boom, to the upside. So we're looking for another opportunity like that on the long end of things in terms of Bitcoin to the upside. In the meantime, we're watching for consolidation and opportunities to short. I want to shout out to anyone VIP who is involved in some shorts. Very nice in terms of the opportunities that have existed. But the thing that I want to bring to your attention now, what we talked about, first of all, was the chop yesterday, absolutely being in the red. Okay, we were in the red on the weekly. It's notable, right? That's a notable indication. Also, we had this line here. Okay, now some of you guys will recall, yesterday I stopped the stream. I literally stopped it early and I said, you guys, I want you to go draw this line, this outer line on your charts. You guys remember that? If you were watching the stream, I asked for everyone. I stopped the stream and I said, that's it. I think I want everybody to make sure they have this outward line. Simply, essentially, this upper threshold of the pricing. Okay, so in terms of that, let's just go through what that line was. Now, I've redone the charts a little bit since then. I've had to reconstruct this just a touch, but that upward threshold that I was talking about was on the candle wicks. And I know a lot of people may have gotten excited when Bitcoin did pump to the upside, right? What it did, it went exactly to the line that I said, guys, let's stop the stream and let's go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead and draw this line, multiple contacts, pivots, guys, along the resistance, on the candle wicks. Then, bam, we went up exactly to that point. So, if you guys are in the business of trading, right, in terms of your personal personal approach, you buy it support, you sell it resistance, right, or you long it support, you short it at resistance. This was just a nice move that we were able to do. I'm just excited as a group. It's a victory for VIP that we called halt to it yesterday. Said, okay, that's it. You guys, please go draw that outward shelf, right? We were kind of at an interior zone here. I was very excited that we got exactly to that point, and yes, we capitulated from that. The market has been doing that repeatedly. Okay, so I was excited that that was kind of the framework that we left yesterday's stream on, was go get that done. For those of you who did that, it made a difference. I just know that it did, absolutely, without a doubt, that you were prepared for that specific hit at that area, and that was a nice take. Okay, while the rest of the market was excited, they said, hey, we have broken out. Well, no. You know, if you've been watching our streams, if you've been plugged in, VIP in the back, etc., and we have some more to talk about in terms of what we've been going through in the back, right? Big. I don't want to say improvement, but just big difference this year. We have a lot of energy in the back between Freddie, who and shout out to Freddie. I have to say it once again, Freddie, our champ for January, without a doubt. Freddie, boom, he traded through a line of resistance. Very impressive. I said anyone who did would get a trophy. Boom, there's Freddie right there. Very extraordinary, cool VIP. I have to tell you guys his whole story when I get a chance. When I get the okay, I keep waiting for it. He's been very busy with work, etc. He's in charge of a lot of people. Not sure what's going on with that, but he's in charge of a lot of people. So I don't blame him for enjoying work as well. But he's a great trader and just excited about that. Obviously, Angel, big shout out. I had a great talk with chat with Angel today, and yeah, not all about the market. That's the one thing that we kind of really esteem ourselves to in this group. It's not all about the market. It is. We like the market. We kind of we coalesce around the market. That's our cohesion, right? But really the fundamentals, like Angel I talk, and I just had to say it was a beautiful conversation because the market was secondary, and a lot of things this year are reminding us of that. Yes, 2022 is going to be an awesome year. It's going to be fun. We're going to be trading. We're going to, have huge profits. Again, shout out to Josh on the bottom right, $1 million champ, right? Put him up to challenge and $1 million champ. And I know, Angel, you have days like that every week if you want to. But we appreciate Josh slugging away and meeting that challenge. He's got a little trophy down there next to Ryan right now. Ryan, I hope you're doing well out where you're at. And all the VIPs will shout out to everybody. Vlad in the back has been real active. Vlad's a great trader. Exciting to have him for 2022. And let's just talk about in line with this curvature that you've seen here, right? This curvature has been real important for me. I've been talking about that the last several videos. If you go back to yesterday's, you just see this line here, right? Now, what do you notice right here? Do you see this right here? Boom. Now, I mean, that's just the expression of the technicals that I can just clearly tell you we've been focused on this specific curvature in terms of the tightening, right? This the spiral down into a descending wedge. Technically, I don't want to get too technical on this. It's just the curvature formation of the price line. I did have this just scoping straight down. Bam. You'll see that. Bam. Okay. So that's exactly what we did. Okay. Just whether or not it's appreciate it or not. I know some people, we didn't want it to go down. Well, that's what it did. Okay, so that's where we're at in terms of the pricing. If you've been, I don't know, if you've been really paying attention, and I know, guys, I can pay attention to half of you and probably do a great service to everybody else by spreading the information that you've got. But we're glad when the group comes together, when you guys share charts, when I'm able to formulate indications like this, and we kind of had the best of both worlds. I'll say that because we hit our top line resistance from yesterday. And I said, everybody, let's stream out of here. Let's cut the stream. It was about 3 o'clock. We could have gone on in terms of the stream and watched the price action. There was some exciting price action ongoing, right? And I'll talk about some charts we shared in the back. Very interesting in terms of this pour down. Kind of essentially what I think we were up against and what made sense of this drop here. Because, intuitively, a lot of people were getting excited when it did crank to the upside. Like me, we're up against a line of resistance, right? We had this scoped out in terms of this formation right in this area, right? Already here going down. We already had that. Okay, so it was just the expression, this tightening of the price line, that the wave formation. If you want to get into like wave formation, right? We had gone through that cyclical price action. The nature of the cyclical price action was that 2 or 3 days ago, right? We did that definitely. We did. We went through the cyclical price action, the up and down, the ranging, right? And this would be cyclical price action within a constricted zone. So it's nice to see that that play out into our targets. I just say that, into our express targets that we previously had. Just big victory. Anytime that and guys, it's a lot of the time that we are very accurate on our technicals. I really appreciate that because your names your faces are out front. Shout out to Richard, right? U.S. Army. Shout out to Kuda, to AJ Crypto, to Steve, everybody, guys. In terms of especially former Air Force or Army. What's Jason's lit? Yeah, Army. You guys probably fight amongst each other. Go fight amongst yourselves if you need to. But I know you guys are brothers in that sense, and we appreciate having all you guys. There's Jason's lit. I see a picture of him right now. What's going on? So in terms of this, just exciting that we're correct on the technicals because when we are, I know you guys are out front, right? You guys are out front, up top. So I like when things do work out technically. I just have to tell you. And yesterday, in terms of this pour down function, in the back, I have to tell you, in the back, I was getting this it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was after the stream, and I was sitting there, and I was like, there's something going on. And we were in a bullish expression. You guys remember that, right? We were in a falling wedge to, kind of an ascending triangle, contraindicated on different time frames. But I was like, there's something else going on here. And I was doing a cross trend across this direction in terms of the prior resistance. I'll just show you this chart. I was sharing it with the VIP on the back, but I was like, resistance, this here, resistance, and I was like, we're tightening into something here, and it felt like we were in a descending triangle. Okay, it felt like we were in an internal descending triangle, and so I brought that to the VIP in the back, saying a lot of interaction on these lines on the daily. We may be tight right now because we're literally in the corner, and that's really what I felt like. This constriction was we were in the corner. Yes, you could have made a descending triangle out of this specific portion, but the lines carried through from the preceding price action on the daily. So I had brought that to the VIP in the back. We did a lot of chart work. I appreciate you guys being a little patient with me. I wanted to develop the idea, and we expanded that chart work, definitely expanded that chart work today to include the overall larger kind of descending nature. But yes, we were constricting within this corner formation, and it felt like it wanted to drop, right? It just did, and that wasn't before kind of a sucker punch. I'll say to the guys who wanted to go long, if you were, if you're still part of that group, I'm going to tell you guys, if you're still part of the group that's getting in, jumping in, going long on leverage, when you're seeing a pump, it's costing you. I just tell you, it's just costing you. Now, I'll tell you, you will catch one. If you keep doing that, you got the cash to back up your position, you'll catch one, no problem. And, that's some people, it's like, well, we'll just, that's fine. Some people, it doesn't matter to them in terms of the number of trades they win. I wanted to talk to you guys about one thing tonight. I think it's very, I don't know. I think it's important that we discuss it because it's a real big maxim in the industry, and we have a different style. Like the VIP, I'll just say we, part of my style and the VIP style. We're very into accumulation at lower levels. The purple lines, as you see, those are our targets right now. And we have a lot of targets, guys. We have a lot of targets. We're always what? We're always buying and we're always selling. Where are we selling? At higher prices. We're buying where? At lower prices. We have orders set at lower prices. That's just the truth. All right, so in terms of the dynamics in play, like we can draw out to a specific golden pocket with the preceding level channel elimination here. We can go through all the details, right, in terms of the strategic approach now versus, let's say in this area as in terms of the price targeting versus, let's say, early to mid 2021. How has the market evolved? We can go through those details. As much as there is that kind of like the strong focus of, let's say, the strong focus of this channel, I want to go through one thing that we don't talk about a lot, but I think we need to. Like, I've been reviewing some indicators for people, not for people, but for the VIP, some buy-sell indicators, some different package deals that people have, the easy one-size-fits-all, etc., right? And I've noticed, like, man, these things are getting killed, right? You're getting one out of 7 or 8 trades. Like, some of these are like literally you might win like 1 out of 7 or 8 trades, and whether or not you almost have to play the long and the short on every one of them, and you're winning maybe 1 out of 7 or 8 trades. Now the market's been tight, it's been jerky. I can understand having difficulty if you had designed a matrix or a formula. It's like I can understand it kind of wanting to get beat. Now the street's involved, etc. So maybe a kind of a retail level, buy sell indicator. Maybe that's having some frustration. But what it brought up to my attention, what I wanted to talk about, is we have this impression, and I want you guys to have a little bit of courage with this, okay? This is one thing, and not to encourage you at all, period, to use a buy-sell indicator. I'm not encouraging that at all. There's different maxims in terms of hitting your targets, lower accumulation, right? Just compounding down at lower levels. We trade patterns. Okay, that's what we do. We trade patterns. We trade breakouts. We like the bigger pattern that we can find has a larger expectation in terms of the move. Okay, we're in kind of a monster wedge right now to the extent that we have compromised the expectation of the move because we've dug too deeply into it. We can discuss that in a bit. But in terms of like buy on support, sell at resistance, or you're going long on support, you're short at resistance, and you trade patterns, right? Buy at support, sell at resistance, trade patterns. In addition to that, you've always got your orders in below, right, to buy, orders in above to sell. That goes for the micro and the macro. Copy that. So when we look at kind of the overall approach, one of the things that glosses over the entirety of that is, how are your trades going? And as I start to review, and I've just been doing that this year because they've received a little bit of attention. I'm like, maybe that's too much attention. I review other channels sometimes to see what is the market focused on right now. They started to focus on indicators. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to review the indicators. I'm going to do that for the VIP. You guys know in 2021, I'd literally go through each and every coin that VIP were offered, period, on Crypto.com. Okay, even the ones that were just mentioned by the market maker on Crypto.com. I'd spend a whole Saturday. I'm going to go through every one of these. We did it live. I was like, I'm going to go through every single one of these coins for the VIP. We're going to look at every single chart. I'm going to do that because the VIP are being offered these coins, and I want to know what they are, right? So we did that in 2021. Just kind of a comprehensive approach. I want you guys to have the best experience. Shout out to Ambrojo. Ambrojo, what's up, boss? Hope you're doing well. And guys, shout out in the chat if you get a chance. I'd appreciate that. As we look at kind of the and the value that I'm trying to bring, kind of this essence, this core. Angel always says, like, you need to be building, right? I should be building. That's okay. What I would say is, like, this year I'm going to be building. Okay, in terms of billing, okay. But building, yeah, I'm gonna be building. What I'm gonna be building is a further like awesome experience and just a top shelf, the number one group in crypto. That's it. That's it. You know, we got the next 12 months to really make an impact and a footprint in crypto, and so we're gonna do it. So that's my real goal. So when I say I reviewed every coin that Crypto.com had, including the new ones, you know, one of those at one point was Sheeb, right? It just was. One of those at one point was Sheeb, and I found, okay, cool, Sheeb. Okay, what is Sheeb? Nobody knew what Sheeb was. You guys remember that? I don't know if the VIP remember that. Nobody knew what Sheeb was. A few guys had gotten in before that or after, or whatever it was. We got in at the exchange listing, and I was like, well, this, you know, it has a good pattern technically. Like, I'm going to bring this to the group, and that was the first 2x that a lot of guys had. Period in their trade existence was Sheeb. So we go that far back in terms of Sheeb even getting some recognized. You know, I don't even was that's recognized like formal market attention, but nobody even really recognized it then. It was just a real, you know, to the guys that were into it, yes, but. While I do this level of diligence for you guys, it's just those are some of the outcroppings, some of the things that do occur in the process of just that hard work that I put in. So I'm excited to continue to do that in 2022, and good things like that happen. I'll just say that we get some exposure to some early things, some different projects, etc. And I know that a lot of you are getting that daily in terms of your own approach. Now, as I review the indicators, all a big, you know, not a long story short, but just some context, I want to let you know that we are, as I'm looking at the buy and the sell, the this and that, which, you know, which package delivery, okay, this person wants $5,000 a year for their buy and sell indicators. Do they work or do they not work? I'm running into the problem as to, well, you know, this one just lost 15 trades in a row. Okay, well, you know, how do you explain that? And I think, well, you know, sometimes the VIP may be in a position if they're really trying to aggressively trade. I'm going to say this: you're covered if you're doubled down, if you're tripled down, if you've got a 5x in the background to hammer in, if you're not overexposed, if you're ready with heavy reserve cash at the lower levels, right? That's kind of the catch-all. You know, that is the catch-all in terms of the heavy reserve cash, always ready to just slam in at the lower levels. But being overexposed in any of these contexts, what I'll say is the maxim that the New York Institute of Finance says is, well, you should book about 40% of your trades, okay? You'll be okay if you can book about 40% of your trades. Now, that's New York Stock Exchange, founded in 1922, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you guys understand that. And why is that important? Because they're $20 to $30 trillion market cap. New York Stock Exchange, they kind of are in charge of price action. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the charts, the technology, everything, like they got a good handle on it. So we pay attention to them. And I want to kind of encourage you guys in terms of the approach that we use in terms of compounding down in your entries. You know, to the extent that you want to use that, and I've mentioned this lightly a few times previously, not to rely on an indicator, but to rely on the fundamentals of technical analysis, okay? Which part, when I say an indicator, like if you're using CHOP, if you're using it in concert with like MACD, Momentum, RSI, CCI, if you're doing that type of indicators, I think that's a healthy approach. And if to the extent that you have a losing trade, there are two ways to approach that, right? And just, you know, a trade that you guys fashioned, you have determined like this is a good trade, this is a bad trade. Well, I lost a trade, I lost another trade. Well, you can treat those with the approach, and we just haven't discussed this much as we're watching Bitcoin currently at 38,068. It has, you know, dropped through a kind of a crucial level of support, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But I just wanted to cover this for sure. While it's a little bit early enough, I'd say for some VIP that may have some things to do tomorrow, I just wanted to cover this in terms of your approach to the market and your next trade. Do you have the ability to compound into your next trade if this one goes bad? I want to ask you that question. Do you have the ability to compound into your next trade if this one were to go bad? And would you have the ability to compound into the next trade after that, and the next trade after that, and the next trade after that? Now, you get into an exponential function of your money, but you also get into an idea as to how lightly maybe you should be trading kind of overall. Right, in terms of, and I'd say heavier levels of accumulation, right, heavier levels of entries in line with some real nicely established cyclical price actions, things that you decided you want to go heavier into, maybe some trades that last a longer time, right, as you get into some more value areas. You know, that's going to be a different trade that might even evolve over time. It's a trade that you might add to over time. It's going to be a little bit different than, well, this trade is for the next 3 days, 4 days. No, it's a trade that may be a trade that evolves. Okay, has a little bit of a time duration in terms of your the duration of the trade, etc. But can you, as you look at your trades, I just wanted to kind of remind and challenge. Then we're going to talk about these moving averages in terms of this convergence. I think is very interesting. We'll note the convergence in this area around July 21st. When we took off to the upside. That convergence was real crucial. So I'm watching this 100 and 200 on the daily right now, this daily moving average, this 100 in orange and the 200 in purple. Watching that right now, that was one of the key focals in terms of the tightening, that constriction of these two moving averages prior here too. Okay, as being a kind of a lift off moment. I'm watching that right now. And as we watch this price action literally just dance along the the lines that we had scripted out yesterday, just nicely done in terms of that the range function, the wave function, the constrictioning into this falling wedge. I'm excited to see that. That's nice. And I told you guys, go draw that. Okay, we stopped up again. We stopped towards the end. Just to repeat, we did stop the stream. I said, you guys go do this. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll be like, you guys go book a trade. You guys go draw this, just to make sure you have it. And not to it's like, well, London's acting like he's in charge. I'm not in charge, guys. I just want to make sure that you had that line of resistance, which crucially got hit. Okay, so it was literally the hit in the market. So if I ever do that, or I say, guys, go book a trade, or this or that, like I just, it was indicated. It literally went right there too. You woke up this morning, and literally, if you did that, if you stopped with the stream, you said, fine. London said, do it. Why not? It's a decent idea. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. If you went ahead and did it, you woke up and the price was literally sitting there. Boom. You knew exactly where the price was. You didn't have to check out another channel or go invent something or look up. You didn't have to do any of that. You knew exactly where the price was. You were the guy on the block that could explain everything in terms of where the price function was exactly to anybody. You just could have. So that's a huge that's huge. That's cool. I like that a lot. That's pretty. That's crucial, huh? You just wake up, you see a price action, everybody's all up and excited. You're like, yeah, that's exactly where we just drew. That's the resistance. We've completed up to the resistance, right? So nice job, BIP. Now this secondary, and I'll just reinforce that in terms of your trades. Are you able to compound into the next trade? Because a lot of people say, well, I lost a trade. Well, I mean, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? It didn't touch your net worth. Okay, I'm going to tell you that, right? If it did, we're in the wrong ball game, guys. You're in the wrong club. I'm going to tell you that much right now. I feel like it affected your net worth. Hold on. It's like, no. Can you? And this is why I bring up, can you compound into your next trade? If you have X, let's go through this real quickly. If you have X, okay, and that's your trade. All right, boom. Well, what happened to X? Well, we lost it. Okay, well, what happened? Okay, well, you lost your trade. Okay. Well, can your next trade be 2X? And I just don't mean on leverage. You could do this via leverage, et cetera, with a common entry principle. The same fashion amount on entry. You could do that. Okay, you guys can schedule that up, and you can deal with those parameters as you see fit. But the big question is it affecting your net worth? Right? That's the wrong club. That's not this club. This club knows that how we're in this game, why we're in this game, and it's better when that net worth over time goes up. Right? We want to be not overly cautious in the market. If you guys decide to just rumble with the market, you want to hammer into it, just make sure you got that feed back in. It's like, okay, well, next week we got another 50 times what we just traded this week. Hey, it comes in the door. Bam. Let's trade again. Let's do this again. Not to say you have to have excess superfluous amounts of cash, but income. I'm going to say some sort of a reserve to work with and an income to work with is just required. I mean, you're investing, right? You're trading, right? So that's kind of a natural function of it. Some people, I start thinking of different things. Some people like to do different things. Trading can be very lucrative. Ask the guys in this club, but it's done with a measure of what we would say, guys, just diligence, right? In terms of, like, I'm asking, when you trade, boom, there you go. On X, X didn't work out. We had a breakout. Shoot. All right, well, here you go. Let's say you had another, and really maybe this got tight. Maybe X was up here. Well, we had that bull flag we were breaking out. Shoot, boom, it didn't work out. Well, okay. Well, now we had a breakout of a interior falling wedge here. Shoot, boom. Okay, you got that's 2x. Now, can your next one? I'm just curious, guys. Can your next one be 4x? I'm just asking in terms of your levels of exposure. Well, we'll carry this down, and maybe you hit the longs and the short, etc. Maybe you want to hit the short right after that. But you'll see how quickly things can compound into. Right, it's like, well, you're going to have to schedule up some sort of a function, a cover function in terms of your exposure in the market, and it's not necessary, okay, not necessarily the maximum that I want to. You know, I'm not going to differ with them. I think I like the overall approach in terms of how you're gauging yourself and your performance in the market. You're 40%, right? If you're hitting your 40, I think you know about half of them, right? If you're booking half of them, much less like if you're booking 3-4 trades in a row, boom, like we love that, right? Wake up and boom, you're just booking 3-4 trades in the morning. I booked this morning here, woke up and we were at this line of resistance and bam, I booked it. So that was nice. That was a nice trade just to kind of go ahead and book. It's nice to do kind of first thing in the morning, just book a trade. That's good. Kind of move on. And what else you got going on your day, right? In terms of this, though, can you see a function, at least let's explore this right now, where that's your exposure on the bull flag breakout, okay? That was on the way to the top. And I want to just open your minds a little bit to this. And you understand this mathematically. You understand what we're getting, kind of the rationale that I'm developing here. It's just a strategy whereby, and I want to couple it with whatever it is, even at the level that it is, and you'll have opportunities, and you guys know when those opportunities get there to make money on the market, it's like, yeah, we pay attention to those. They're the market phenomenon, right? It's something that's going on in excess of just, well, okay, I'm going to trade. It's something really that you know you're going to take advantage of. Some of those opportunities, they take you by storm, right? It's not really an option in terms of, pre-planning, etc. But even in those, you want to stay regulated. Stay regulated. I'm just going to tell you, just VIP way to be. That's not advice. That's anything. That's what I see the best guys in this group doing. They're kind of regulated with that. Okay, to the extent it's like, if you want to multiply your whole net worth by 2, and you want to do that on SHIB while SHIB's rolling up, do it. I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to or don't do it. How about that? You guys make the decision. I don't want anyone in this group getting hurt because we have a very good reputation of not getting hurt. I'm just going to tell you that we absolutely do. And how do we do that? Heavy cash reserves where? Bam, stuck here. That's it. So when I bring up like the notion of like, well, you want to multiply this by 2, you want to multiply the entirety of your net worth by 2. All right. Well, I brought up the other day, what I like. The idea of like, inflation is high, et cetera, a lot of extra cash floating around. Go open yourself up an extra car wash. It's just it's a manner of speech, but it maybe isn't, right? What's a cash business that you can go involve yourself in? Bam, to stack another one down there. All right, and let's trade. Right? What's another, like, well, I got 2-3 locations of my business right now, everything else, and then bam. Well, now you got 3 down there right now. All right, now you can continue to play the market. You can continue to learn. And when the opportunity presents itself, if you've done things that way, etc., you're not overly reliant on just, it's almost a form of like diversification that we would talk about. A form of diversified, sourcing. We can almost say, I don't want to say resource, but like sourcing in terms of your approach to the market. Can you create this here and bam, stack it down? Because then the nice thing is you can deploy this, right, depending upon what crypto is doing. And you guys are going to see, I think 2022 is going to be a phenomenal year for crypto and for a lot of different possible investments. So we're not going to just hang out in crypto and hope to beat like the return on Ford next year, right? The return on Ford stock and equity. No, there's going to be the phenomenon of another, well, that was 100x, right? There's going to be a phenomenon. And I guess that may have been the biggest statement I just said. Okay, some of the biggest returns that I've seen in this market, and Angel on top is a great example. Okay, $7.79 into Bitcoin. Copy that, right? So when we look at that, $7.79 into Bitcoin. It didn't take the entirety of his reserve to go into Bitcoin way back when, right? And I'll just tell you, those opportunities, we continue to see them in the market. They present themselves. Well, Solana was at the 1,000x, right? Or let's just, Harmony One was a 100x. Or, she was a million percent gain, right? As you look at some of these, it's like, okay, we get it, right? The notion is, as you trade with heavy hands in Bitcoin or wherever you're trading, can you can you feasibly, understandably, can you approach this to where, okay, this one was X. Okay, this one, if this didn't fall out or you hit your stop loss, however it worked out, you're at 2X here. I put in 10 grand here. Okay, I'm gonna roll with 10,000 on this one. That's fine, right? With the right, and I say that you don't have to trade with $10,000. If you want to throw a million at it, throw a million. But it's the next one. Okay, cool, you got 2 million. Just question. Do you have two? I'm going to cover this. That was a loss. And whatever that is, if it's 1,000 and the next one's 2,000, right? If it's 100, the next one's 200, right? But whatever your expectations are, can the next one be 4 million? Can it be 4,000 or can it be 400? Right? Can it be 100, 200, or 400? Right? If it's a loss, and a loss. And I bring that up because the market's been real choppy. I have just kind of the overall feeling, and I've said this a few times, is that it feels like retail is kind of quote unquote retail. You guys are the furthest thing from retail that I know. Absolutely. You are not average retail investors, but we fit within a retail exchange, right? Essentially, although we could probably discuss some facets of the exchanges that standard retail investors do not understand, do not deal with. But as we would talk about that, do understand that it feels a little bit like retail's getting crushed in here, almost intentionally. But where is it's just the pattern. This is a brutal pattern. Okay, it has been. There have been enough fake outs, breakouts. If you focused on the right thing, well, we're just going to focus on shorting. We're going to focus on, and if you had the right approach between, the first, you've had to jump kind of essentially from one side of the ring to the other. Right, you're almost like that. And Vlad, that was a cool video earlier on, by the way. And I told Vlad, the real good guy that I know from Credit Suisse, First Boston turned into Credit Suisse, but one of the top traders from Wall Street, if not the top trader. Vlad reminds me of him. Vlad had some boxing video. Let's go through that real quickly. Let me see if I can find that. Just cool stuff. I want to show you guys this in the back. It's just cool stuff. He's just a heavy hitting dude, and we'll talk about this as well. Let's see here. This descending triangle that I really felt, at about 3 o'clock in the morning yesterday was kind of indicated here. And I don't know, the guys in the back are probably like the ones that were up, like, why is London drawing a descending triangle into things at like 4 in the morning after we streamed? I just felt like some negative pricing was kind of indicated. Okay, we didn't necessarily talk yesterday about the Bank of Russia. We didn't do that. We may have mentioned it a little bit. We went over Kondratiev. Okay, Kondratiev. We kind of covered that a little bit, and of course I didn't have any insight at all or any update or inside information about it. The Bank of Russia just didn't, and if I did, I would not have mentioned that directly. That's not why we're here. But yeah, the Bank of Russia has said that they may outlaw. They're kind of formalizing that push to kind of outlaw, the mining and crypto activities in Russia. So that's potentially a big deal. The other thing that kind of hit, and this was kind of the anvil, right? This was the anvil that kind of really slammed down into Bitcoin, was long-awaited central bank digital currency (CBDC) white paper. Fed flags privacy, financial stability, etc. So it is really that's an interesting tag team. You have to say between Russia. This would be my commentary. Interesting tag team between Russia saying our central bank says no, and the U.S. just putting kind of a clamp on the end of that discussion with some formalized white paper, etc. in terms of opening this discussion formally in terms of what their plans are. So it's completely uncoordinated. It's in opposite directions. One's going to completely outlaw. It looks like Russia is saying that we're just going to outlaw this, and the United States is saying, well, we just kind of may take it over. It's just interesting. It's interesting that it's kind of different approaches, but on the same day that we get kind of a 1-2 punch from the market tolerated the Russia news better than it did the CBDC white paper from the Fed. I just if they could do it right, it's like they're going to fix inflation. Great, can you do it right? I don't see what's wrong with Tether, to tell you the truth, in terms of some sort of they're looking for a digital dollar, and it's like I guess they can try and recreate now, and what Luna has done. Excited about Luna. I think it's performing well tonight. Let's see where it is. Let's see where it's at. Luna barely up, about 0.72% today, up at about $77. Shout out to Angel. Our original price target was about $4.60 last year. Nice. Streamed it live for anybody who got the $4.60. Congratulations. It's been a heck of a trip up and a little bit of a correction, and it just has been unstoppable. So shout out to Angel. I know he still got that, was it $5 and some odd cents in terms of the target of those acquisitions still there. So that's nice to see. So yeah, that's just kind of a what we say, kind of a recap in terms of your exposure here. A recap in terms of, yes, the heavy reserve capital. What is the goal and purpose of your, or we can say expectations of your trading in terms of this move here to the upside? Once Bitcoin got up and going, I'll tell you this, once Bitcoin got up and going and it really slammed up out of this, and it was clear, and it got clear, for us very early. I want to let you guys know that as well. I don't want to be overly cautious in the market, but as we look back through July 2021, right, when it got up in this area, guys, it became clear enough. You didn't hear me talking about, guys, you need heavy reserve capital, guys. That wasn't as much of what I was saying then. Okay, it was full on bull. That's it. Let's roll. That's it. That's what it was. So in terms of that dynamic and how it's interpreted now, I don't want you to get the inclination that it's like, well, the air is kind of stiff around here. I understand that, okay, right now, but it's kind of the mode that the market is in. So I'm trying to match the mood of the market a bit with the approach that we have, and I think that's fair enough, right? I think that's decently or aptly well put. So in terms of this pour down again, that it followed this wave formation, I think it's nice in the context of what we had been discussing recently. I think it's a nice approach for us to look at, because we had approached this sine wave function. You guys know that we looked at the signal function, or I say sine, but the wave formation essentially, right? This pattern formation that you can apply to anything with a cycle. Right, so we're seeing this cyclical formation, and we had applied it essentially what the diagrams in the back you guys have. That was it, even down to solar activity, whatever it is. All right, the world goes around every day, guys. Right, it just does. We can talk about the details from RSI Wilder. He founded the RSI, Established Relative Strength Index, and what did he establish? It's just the truth. He established the 14 days because it was that period range of the RSI, because it was half of the moon cycle. Right, the moon cycle is important because it's a periodic interval, right? It is something that repeats. So to the extent that it's we're not astrologers here, we're just not. But it is that cyclical wave formation. It is the cycle. So as to the extent that we're seeing that play out here, it's nice. You have to say from the work that we did, the introspection, or what would you just call it, just the review that we did in terms of the cyclical patterning formation, having gone through that, to see it just round down into one that's kind of a furtherance of that idea here in terms of how we had that scheduled out. I'm happy about that. I think that's good on our scorecard. That's a good thing. Okay, in terms of the where things are headed next, we could talk about will we continue downward to this? I did talk about, and I scheduled this out in terms of the actual price targets that we're getting into and that we're hitting. We have got kind of a line of support, which ultimately is angled about down to that 50%. You guys, I think you'll agree with that. If you'll do the exact drawings on your desktop, I encourage you to do those. And I think that you'll see that we're headed towards the 50% retracement. It's unfortunate that we don't have more action to the upside of a typically standardly bullish pattern. We just don't right now. That's I think we're under a lot of pressure from the top, from Austria. We're going to tax lump taxation and regulation into the same onto the same shelf in terms of that. I think they're both just potentially restricting conditions that the market can go through. But we've been through this field before, and hopefully soon we'll hear from Angel. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's probably very busy right now, and hopefully we'll hear from him soon. It was a pleasure talking to you this morning, or chatting with you this morning, Angel. I know that you're very busy. You got a lot going on, and I'll remember that conversation. Absolutely, absolutely. With a smile. That was a great conversation we had. Very meaningful. I appreciate that. And so as we would look at the bad news, the bad news, we've been through the bad news. Tesla is not accepting Bitcoin. Okay, Tesla's not accepting Bitcoin. China is doing away with Bitcoin. Earlier in 2000, about May of 2021, April, May of 2021, that hit the market hard, right? It did. We went down, just to kind of put things into context. We went down 30% in 12 days. That was a big deal. Rebounded, then we went down. With the whole China fallout. They're just, if you've been around the market, they're typical fallouts. 50% in 8 days. 50% in 8 days. That's a hit if you had some big Bitcoin holdings. If you had, $5 to $10 million in Bitcoin, well, if you hold on to it, that's 2.5 to $5 million in Bitcoin. That's a change. That's a change in the account, right? So in 8 days, that's a 50% drop. Now you recovered therein. If you had orders waiting at lower levels, okay, you start to welcome that aggressive price action. Come down and pick us up. Absolutely. Come down and pick us up. That is the idea. So we're looking for, as I started to see some semblance of negative pricing, just some price action, about 4 or 5% tonight. What's in me is, as we see that the stream yesterday, I was very unequivocal about saying we like lower prices, period. We like value. That's our group. We like lower prices. So to the extent that plays out, you're not going to hear a single complaint from me. If you're on the wrong side of a trade, what I would say is, are you able to schedule in at a compound level on the next trade to cover it? All right? And where is your sourcing coming from? And it's great to sit here and say, well, you're going to make all your cash in Bitcoin. Well, you're probably going to make some. If you're a good trader, you're going to make some. You probably made some last year. You're going to make some this next year. You've been involved in some good projects. 2021 was good. So, you've been maybe building down here significantly with crypto. And I don't mean it all has to come from the outside. But there's a nice kind of balanced approach to it that I don't think a lot of people, kind of the maximalist, in terms of the crypto maximalist, is going to say, these are all the eggs in the basket right here. Boom. And boom. And boom. And there's a lot of that in the market. I'm changing all my paychecks. I'm putting my house. I'm putting my kids' college tuition is now in Bitcoin. All right. So we're not quite like that. We're a little bit different. We're not like the New York mayor who decided that he wanted to put his paycheck into Bitcoin. We're just not doing that right now. We're just not doing that. We like lower prices. We just do. And whether or not we like them on the daily, on the weekly, on the hourly, on the 30-minute, or on the 5-minute, we like to buy low. We like to sell high. And part of that would who would be the first not to just buy the dip. I would have been impressed if the New York mayor has said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to schedule up orders for Bitcoin at lower prices. We're not going to hear based on the Fibonacci's, but based upon a discount that my VIP group has come up with, and we're going to be acquiring Bitcoin at a lower price. My man. I'd be like, my man. Everybody would be like, yo, man, this guy knows what he's doing. Could you imagine? It would have been quite different than I'm just converting my paycheck into Bitcoin. Okay, I get it. But, can you have a price target? Can you try and negotiate a little bit? Can you try and be a part of a market and not just give the price that you're given? Can you try and say, well, I want to pay this, right? I want you guys to kind of feel a little bit, not in terms of the overall impression that we deliver in terms of the value of Bitcoin and the value of crypto, that may be zero in terms of difference between us and someone who would say, yes, I just want to be paid in Bitcoin. I just want to, further extend the adoption or this or that. But the difference is that we want to make money almost immediately on this. In terms of the concept, at least, we want to formulate the strategy and deploy it to where the concept that is in play is profitable, right? Almost on an immediate level. Whether or not it's and I distinguish between the buy now, because I say we're always buying, okay? But that doesn't mean And it would have been interesting also for some of these individuals to start to say, we may see more of that, like the individuals that say I'm converting or I'm going to be getting paid in Bitcoin. To the extent that there's an averaging equation that's built into that allows for the capture of the volatility, beautiful. Right, to the extent that there is a process in place so that people who are paid in Bitcoin can have the exposure to the downside volatility in a positive fashion, to the extent that they are quote unquote paid in Bitcoin and achieve an averaged price in line with that volatility. That's going to be hopefully a good part of the regulations. Like, those are the types of issues that I would like to see regulated. When we talk about regulations, yes, the money laundering, yes, the criminality aspects and the fraud, whatever those divisions with the exchange, whatever they're talking about in terms of that needs quote unquote regulation like that, great, that Russia may be concerned about. I would like to see some real steps forward from hopefully some leaders in and around it. If you guys are discussing anything with anybody who's got some salt in and around, like, that's one of the issues that I think could drive a lot more adoption in terms of being paid in Bitcoin. Is there a system in place, and how well are they fashioned, to the benefit of the individual who may be paid in Bitcoin, that yes, you're going to experience some value in terms of that check not just being cut today and bam, it's right into Bitcoin, right? We would like to as a group be able to formulate that on an individual level. I just say I'd encourage you guys to start thinking through things like that, so you can have discussions like that. So they're going to be like, wow, you're ahead of the game on Bitcoin, right? Absolutely, you guys are. And in terms of crypto, I want us just to be a step ahead. So that's just kind of some encouragement. If you guys are, I know you're very competent in terms of your business approach and everything else. Those things make sense to you, and that's just who we want to be. We want to be that top-notch group in 2022. And as great as you guys have been thus far, I'm just going to try and up our game that much more. So as we would look, and I will continue to do that as well in my own private circles, etc. So as we would look at this key move, we are looking for a rebound return. We are looking for some sort of a real indication that, yeah, it's time to go long. The shorts have been paid. They've been a little tricky too. I'm going to tell you probably maybe one out of 4. I'd say 1 out of 4 to 1 out of 5 shorts has paid well. Okay, and in terms of those that are just clearly indicated on what I've been reviewing, because some of the VIP are also using buy or sell indicators, and I think they're using them as a guide. I would just say that. But as the market has just been super choppy, it just really has. It's gotten expectations up in terms of the levels of the Fibonacci that we have already hit on this interim Fibonacci from the prior breakout to the top, right? We have a set of Fibonacci's. Then in terms of the ground zero to the all-time high, we have another set of Fibonacci. So when we get along those, or we get some expression of a positive price that may be, or a positive move that may be in play, it's normal to want to become bullish on the matter. So let's see here, and I just bring up those figures in terms of it's, if you're using the buy sell indicators as kind of a complement to your overall trade game, that's perfect. That's fine. Just don't become over reliant on them. 2021, we absolutely rocked the house. We absolutely annihilated the market. We rocked it, guys. We absolutely did. From Luna at $4.60 to $4.50 to $5.50. Boom. Shout out, Angel. Love you, brother. In terms of that play, multiple plays, in terms of the 29,750, ba-boom, 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 we rocked the house without assistance from a buy sell indicator. We did. And for those who are looking to trade more aggressively with them, just watch your back on them, right? And do that. I'd say watch your exposure, watch your back, cover yourself. Make sure that you have that X, 5X, 20X, whatever that is, in terms of your covering yourself on those trades. There are some benefits to the indicators. Sometimes they'll keep you in a trade longer. That's also one of the biggest drawbacks. Okay, sometimes they'll keep you in a long or a short that will wind up working out. And then sometimes it's like, well, I wish I would have gotten out of that. And it's almost impossible to judge if you're just relying on a thumb up or a thumb down that you should do something, right? It's like, well, is the threshold has been met or it hasn't. I don't want you guys to get in the guesswork that framework unless it's absolutely necessary. Maybe your time, maybe the time spent and your other endeavors don't allow you to do something, and it's kind of like a requirement that you at least have some notification. Well, I'm supposed to do this now, and you want to enjoy the market like that. If that is the case, hey, that's cool. If that's how you're rolling right now, that's fine. I appreciate that component. Just make sure that it is all in line with the heavy reserve cash. That's the mainstay here. So as we would talk about, let's see, I covered just in terms of maybe not the 40%, maybe not the 50%. Are you able to cover the next trade with a compound entry to make it disappear? Can you go 5 times as heavily on your next trade and it's no big deal? Can you do that? Whatever your expectations are in terms of your overall returns is going to dictate that. I just encourage you to think through that process because it is so much more comfortable. I'll tell you this, so much more comfortable if you can actually step into your next trade. And I'm just going to throw 5 times at it what I just threw at it. It is so much more comfortable, right? To the extent when you do that, and that's even comfortable, it's like you will get to the point where you're like, this is almost required. Really, it's almost required that I trade this way. I had to tell you, you may think that if you try that, it's like, okay, so if I can compound into the next trade, if this trade goes south, and I'm saying you're day trading, you're flash trading, if you can compound into it at 5 times what you just traded, it's not going to be anything. It's not going to be the last trade's nothing. All right, and it's like, you get into the overall purpose of your trading. You get into the overall expectations and how heavily you'll get into trading, how quickly. That's the dynamic that will approach. And it's not like you have to have unlimited cash. But I'll tell you, with the volatility of crypto, you're in a unique position right now. Some people wait for those 100x or 1000x positions. They want to be a part of that, and that dynamic, it has them in a patient mode all year long. It just does, and that's fine for them. They're not into I'm going to compound into, I'm going to do this and that. But as we deal with traders that have heavier and heavier hands in terms of wanting to slam into the market, I want you to try at least one of these this week where you trade and you're going to not worry about it because your next trade's going to be 5 times as big. Just do that. And if that means you have to cut back on the trade, what you're doing and where you're at, I want you just to try and just promise me. Just try it. Okay, just promise me you'll try it, because what you'll run into, then I'm going to talk about a key line of support that we have. Looks like we're breaking right now, at least pushing in out of this line of support. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. That I brought up to VIP as well last night. Not really excited that we've broken through this line of support. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But just promise me you'll try that. Like, as much as if a coach could look at you and say, look, check this out. I know you can throw a football 80 yards, all right? But check this out. I think you can throw it 120 yards if you just, move your grip back just a little bit on the football, and I want you to grip the thread on it just a little bit different. Just, curl the end of your finger around this thread just a minute. Now try and throw one. And what if you throw it 120 yards? You're like, dang, man. The whole time I've been throwing this, I'm throwing my arm out, and it's like, whoa. It's like, I can throw 80 yards. No one else can throw it 80 yards, right? Right? And that is important as we would talk about that. It's just, what is that approach, right? What is that approach that you're going to look at? What is that approach that you're going to look at? So try that this next week. Try it. Try scaling back on something, and see the number one thing that you'll see is, I bet you, if you go a fifth as light. Right, I don't want to say that as fifth as light, but to step into it, it'll be a decent challenge for you to experience this. And I'm not talking about lightening up in terms of what you're already good at or otherwise. Don't step into that. But in terms of the compound factor, you'll be entertained at least with one thing, I promise. You will be entertained by the fact that you still care about the trade that you just entered at a fifth as much as you normally do. If you caught that. Pay attention. You will be very entertained with yourself, because if you trade at 1/5 the amount that you normally trade at, it will be like you're still trading the same amount. Okay? Just entertain yourself for a minute. Try and scale back. Say, okay, interesting. Try and scale back to 1/5 of what you normally trade. Just try it and see how that still captures your full attention. I'm telling you guys, it'll still capture your full attention. You'll still be as heavily involved in the trade. You'll still want to watch it like a hawk. You'll still treat it like it's $1,000,000 trade instead of a $200,000 trade, or you'll treat it like a $1,000 trade instead of a say a $200 trade, whatever it may be. But try that one time just to explore that dynamic with yourselves. Just to explore the dynamic with yourselves, and then be able to compound back into it at that 5 times as heavily as you just did, and see how little the other trade really mattered. So gauge those two things. One, how it's still going to capture your full attention. Okay, and as we progress through 2022, maybe we'll do some different kind of, if you want to call it an exercise or whatever, just gauge yourself, your participation in the market. Where are you mentally, psychologically? And there's a big component of the market. What's the psychology of the market? So maybe a little bit of testing here, right? Try the 1/5. Try that and see how you respond. It's gonna still get you. It's gonna still have you in the market. Period. Okay, and as you thereafter compound the 5 times thereafter, see how the other one doesn't matter as much. You'll get there on both of the levels, and depending upon kind of where you guys are at, there may be some other things you may want to look at or do surrounding that notion. Okay, I'll just say there's some other interesting things you could do, and you may have already done these things, but maybe it's a good time to walk through them at the beginning of the year, just to kind of be like, okay, just to Vlad was boxing earlier on, right? And it's like, we're gonna spar in the beginning. We're gonna warm you up, right? Not just ding ding ding, here you go, right? And maybe it's a different kind of warm up for you. You may get into that as well. It's a new week, new trade week, something like that. I saw you hit, and I can tell you're a good fighter. My granddad was Gold Gloves, and you got some spunk to you. you got at least you got a good right, but as you look at that, maybe there's a warm-up kind of session, something else you could explore for 2022. All of you, not just Vlad, etc., but all of you, to get into and get in the rhythm even that you may find in maybe the lighter load, the lighter kind of the lighter at the beginning of the week. You may find a different rhythm, like warming up, ahead of time, like you showed tonight, and then you get into and not just ding ding ding, let's go, and it's time to go full on in the market every single time. Maybe you'll find a little bit of a different pattern as you approach your psyche and your involvement in the market this year. So let's go through some things like that, just to pay attention to. And I've trained like alpha traders. That's an alpha is the percentage by which you beat the market. Just some just different things to kind of pay attention to. Not financial advice, whatever, right? But it's just different things, different approaches. I've been around some really some of the top traders, if not like the top, just period. Had the pleasure of being around them. Good guys. Just want to take a look at the overall market. Kind of, just typical red day. We're not fazed by the only question going to be, is it getting there quickly enough, right? So, and the time is that function in terms of where the market is headed. Let me see what we got here. So, do you mind drawing a parallel channel from the top to and then to the low of July 19th? Zayed, are you a VIP, brother? Are you a VIP? A lot of people are going to be watching this tomorrow. If you're VIP, it's kind of an exclusive. What would we say? Exclusive. Let me do this real quickly, and yeah, I do. I'm sorry, Zayed. I do mind. This is a VIP exclusive chat, etc. Just a VIP exclusive, stream, and I want to keep it exclusive for them. So yeah, if they ask me to draw a channel or do something like that, I'll definitely do that for them. But yeah, I'm sorry, I won't do that for you. This is their time, and people will show up and say, well, where are they? Well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. A lot of them have full-blown businesses, etc., and they will want to watch this tomorrow. So I will cover the details in terms of what's happening tonight, and a lot of people do trade at night. There's a few heavy-handed kind of hitters that are up and around right now, that do well in the market because they're up right now. And yeah, the other guys are a lot of those types are just not here because they just get taken away continually when they're shuffled in, and that's okay. I think YouTube has kind of figured out that we have this dynamic where they will slowly just pass people along, and we will slowly just invite them to leave if they don't just fit the mold, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong. And if you're still listening, Zayed or whoever else, I don't want you to think there's anything wrong or personal at all. It's just that's the framework of this channel and what we're building this year is a real strong dynamic for the VIP. We're the number one trade group. I know that. I'm not worried about competing with anybody. I'm not worried. I have zero question about that. Zero. We have just some incredible guys here, and it's a real special kind of group. So that's what I'm going to be reinforcing and continuing to build for them as we continue to grow throughout 2022 and look for awesome opportunities in 2022. So that's our dynamic, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you guys would like to join VIP, we'll cut some. It's right on the screen in front of you, so that's no problem. And if you don't, you tell us before you comment whether or not you do, and that's real easy. So it's really you have already told me that you don't want to be. That's it. That's real easy. You got the join button right in front of you on your desktop. So if you've already said that you don't want to be, and you show up and you want me to do something for you, I got a bunch of guys that want to be. That are part of the framework and the fabric of this group is important to me. So this pour down, nice to watch this cyclical. We would just call it it's a cycle, pricing cycle. And it's not as just to review it, because we don't always think of, well, it's a wave formation, yes, but it's a pricing cycle. It's got an angle on it. So that's interesting for us to review to an extent. The sine wave, we always talk about that. This is just angled within a function. I liked and I still do like the pattern formation here to the extent that we're going to hold this bottom line support. That's going to be the question right now. That's going to be the big question. The unknown that's interjected into that's going to be this preceding departure at this level. That preceding departure from this overall formation is going to interject and has interjected a degree of an unknown. And let's go ahead and look at what I had promised you guys we'd look at in just a second here. Let's roll through this. You guys got rough pricing targets on the screen. The exact targets, 0. Okay, I say to ground zero. All-time high to ground zero. Boom. You got your Fibonacci's. You include the 86 always on the preceding breakout to the all-time high, 69,000. This preceding breakout of this zone. Boom, right? I know you're using some other key features and focals that you're looking at in addition to the pattern formation. In addition to that pattern formation that is a bit differentiated on the different time frames. And you're dealing with different levels of departure in this zone, this big pour down. On the, December 3rd? The big pour down on December 3rd has caused a bit of variation on every time frame. As you go down through the lower time frames, this drop is going to be more included on the line instead of on the candles, right? Every lower time frame, like on the 4 hourly, for instance, and just understand how the price action works. On the 4 hourly, you're going to be right here. Let's go to the 1 hourly. On the 1 hourly, is it the same? I'll be surprised. It's the same. Shouldn't be the same. Let's see the 30-minute. A little bit lower on the 30-minute. It shouldn't be the same. Noted. If you understand how these things should work, we get into a lot of that in terms of how they should work and how they are working. About the same on the 5-minute. There we go. So if it was that quick, I'm going to have to say if it was recognized as that quick on TradingView, I probably have a problem with this chart. I'm going to tell you that. I have a problem with this chart if it's going to be expressed as that quickly. I'm going to scroll back to this, and let's see. We'll get a picture of what is this date function. Where are we at here? Let me get back to the 5-minute. It's going to be difficult for me to get back to that. Let's see. The 21st of July. No. Let's get back to the hourly. Let me get to the hourly. What I'm trying to get to, and it doesn't make it easy, trying to get to December 3rd on the 5-minute. Let me see if I can get to December 3rd on the 5-minute. The point is, how much time are we spending below the specific line chart, because the lines should be lower and lower. We found one instance of lower and lower. Okay, so that should be on the 3rd of December as we go into the specific, and it is lower from, let's say, one of the higher. We don't have to go to the 1 minute. You'll see it. It should step down from the 4 hourly. It doesn't catch it in the hourly. It was that quick of a dig down that it really became evident on the 5-minute, and it should be on the 1 minute. We should have a lower time function or a lower line function. Let me see on the 1 minute if we can get into this. If I can, there we go. We got the times. I'd like to get back to that to explore whether or not we have got. It's actually worth looking at how quickly that price action function. This is going to be on this. We got to really scroll back on this. Let's see if I can do this real quickly. It's worth looking at how quickly that move happened. We did some analytics previously and looked at. Let's see where we're at. Is there price action here? Is it even computing? No, I don't even think TradingView wants to really compute at that level. Let's see what we got. This is January. Isn't that interesting, huh? TradingView just only wants to give you so much pricing and information if you start digging back in it. That's okay, TradingView. Don't worry about it. It's just the Premium Pro edition of what you guys got in line with Binance. Don't worry about it. We're not worried about it. Just whatever it is, that's okay. But I like to test that function because I wanted to see essentially what's the variation in terms of this principle that's playing out. Yes, it is going to stand true between the 4 hourly, 1 hourly, and let's say the 5 minute. If you go down to the lower time frames, ultimately the point is this, that the lowest time frames that you get on are going to be indicative of the full expression of the candle wick. Okay, because the line did go there, but the body of the candle didn't set. So it's going to be indicated on the lowest time frames, the 5 minutes into here. Okay, and just the point of this, 5 minute is into here. All right, there is a time frame. Technically, there is a time frame that has the full expression of the candle wick. There just is. Okay, whether or not it's on the 1 second. Right? How detailed do we have to get? Yeah, and we're not typically drawing to the 1 second, but the purpose of that discussion and getting into it is that we have a differentiation in terms of this line of support right in this area. Okay, it's going to go, for instance, on the 5 minute. We understand that it's going to be drawn to this level here. We kind of we give the market some credence and say, yes, okay, we're probably not going to include the entirety of this. The market, the traders right now, you guys are too. We're not really going to include the entirety of this spill out function here, right? On December 3rd, we're not going to go there in terms of the formation of our pattern necessarily. We're inclined to say, well, let's just stick on the lines. So the analysis that's going on is, are we on the hourly? Are we on the 5 minute? Are we on potentially, I'm trying to find the 1 minute. It doesn't want to show it to us. That's fine. Nothing will surprise me in terms of the technicals or lack thereof as delivered to us in 2022. We have found some clear errors, etc. It hasn't been exciting, but, I'm sure we could dig through, I don't know. I'd want to go over to Interactive Brokers, and I would want to really see on their charts and really explore some of these issues and cross-reference them from TradingView, etc., to like the information on Interactive Brokers. I think Interactive Brokers just has the number one. This is my personal opinion. That's it. Nothing more than that. Interactive Brokers really has a top-notch platform in terms of their overall platform. And if you guys have used them, I think you'll agree with that. It's a great outfit there. As we would look at this issue, the only difference is the following. We're going to have a different cut-through line on this specific bottom line support. If we were to go to, for instance, this, and I identified this for that reason, the 5 minute will be right here. Copy that. 5 minute will be right here, and we'll have a different level of support in here. We also would want to go to the 5 minute here and see where it's expressed. It may go down into this level as well. So we can do that at least on the 5 minute here recently and see, yeah, it does. It's down to that formation in here, or down to this original line of support, which I thought it might be. So we would draw this 5 minute down into this level. That's going to give us the let's see. Now let me make this blue, and let's see if we're on the 5 minute line right now in terms of the pickup. I just encourage you guys, as you look at the difference between the candle wick and the lines. At least we're seeing right now it's tolerating us going to the 5 minute on the line chart. Okay, so maybe the threshold is the 1 minute is difficult to find. I normally have to really adjust the parameters, and I'll spread out the I'll zoom in and zoom out. If you hold down your control and you use your mouse wheel, you can zoom out. Okay, get into the gray structure, and it'll allow you to really zoom out and to really compress the price function. As you see this, it becomes graphically intensive for your computer to process. Okay, but you can really zoom out and you can compress the entire feature of the pricing. Okay. You can do that if you'll scroll in and out with your wheel on the top or bottom borders of your trading view. Okay? It's just people don't do that. But scroll in and out is putting your cursor up into the gray area. Okay, let me just show you this. Let me go into just the upper level margin. Go into that, use your mouse wheel, hold down control, and zoom all the way back. Let's see. Look at that. Sending love from Canada. Kenny Crypto. That is so nice. Let's rip the dip. Alpha Blood. Very nice. I need a bite. An analyst. You need to hire an analyst. Are you willing? Well, Kenny, I hope you're doing really well. 2022 is the entire year of new beginnings. I'm going to say that. Did you know that? It's like everything in 2022 is getting better. So I'm really happy to hear from you. I'm going to say that first of all. Kenny went through some alpha training early on, and I think he just had a lot going on in life, huh? Bottom line, a lot of alpha blood and this and that, everything else, and you had a lot going on. So you need to hire an analyst. I'm sure you do, huh? Yeah, I need to. He's laughing now, huh? Yeah, you're gonna get the first requiem bill. How about that? You can, if you want the top left corner, you can have the top left corner, and I think those corners are currently going for about 52,000. How about that? And then you can hang out. You can hang out with Angel on top if you want the top left corners going for, I guess, $52,000 right now, and then we can hang out and do everything we need to. Nice to hear from you, Kenny. I hope everything's great with your family and with you. Let's see what we have. Yeah, what you got? I know you're doing well in the markets, always hitting those lower targets. And Kenny was one of the guys. Kenny was one of the guys, weren't you, Kenny? I was discussing with, and I know Kent Gifford. And Kenny was a guy who went through some alpha training early on. And what was it? It was the wave formation. I'm not sure if Kenny still has the chart or whatnot, but Kenny was around, and it's nice to hear from him. I hope everything's going awesome. Crypto is a little bit chaotic sometimes in 2021. I know that. So in terms of that, we had the wave formation that I was teaching the alpha traders about, and Kenny was one of the guys I was teaching before this was here. This was the deal. He's like, yep, London did this. And before this was there, I was teaching them about wave formation. I was telling them, now that because we're experiencing this right here, a decreasing of the Bitcoin wave potential, the slope, right? I said, the next move will be like this. I said, then unfortunately, the next move is, and he knows this, before the price was here. I don't know if he still has the chart I gave him. He says, and this would be, the next move would be here. Before this was here, and I said, then the next move is going to be like this. And I gave that to the alpha traders before. You still have it, huh? That's awesome, huh? He still has because I gave him this before the price went like that. And everybody else in the market was completely just like hammer shocked, except the alpha traders. They knew. It's like, no, London told us that's exactly what the price is supposed to do. And I'm like, but I don't think the residual of the market could really appreciate even when I tell the story now, right? Yeah, boss called it. He knows it. He has it. But it was just indicated because we were rounding the feature. Now, this was a dramatic move down, but it was just, there was such a dramatic move up, the volatility, et cetera. So they really learned that wave formation, the rounding, the slope feature, et cetera, of the price function. And yeah, this move down wasn't easy to explain in the context of something that was going just vertical, right? It was at 65,000, drawing something down into like $30,000. But yeah, it was indicated. So that's Kenny's part of that original alpha trader group, etc. And it was nice to it was nice to be able to deliver that to you, get some confirmation back. I hope you still have that chart because I know after I drew it for you, you're like, I want to copy that chart. I was like, okay. We have like 50 things going on. I hope I gave it to you and you still have it. If you do, if you may have burned it, I don't know. It's like the whole market's gone. But the idea was the pickup into the different levels of the Fibonacci's and the pickups at the lower levels value. What we get into, like Angel on the top, $7.79. It's a different story if Angel had bought it at. What if in around that time, like if he sold some at 1,000, in around 1,000? What if he had bought it at 1,000 and sold it at $7? Right? So as we look at the value, as we look at the technical aspects of things, it becomes critically important. When we're talking about applying the technicals, and you start to think, guys, Angel's at the top right now. He bought at $7.79. And there's a patch of it, and not all of it, but there was a patch of it. He says one of his greatest trades, he sold it for around 1,000. That was one of his greatest trades, right? And you say, well, he could have held it till 65 or 55 or 1,000. Okay, well, he's still got Bitcoin. Don't worry about it, guys. But as you look at it, it's like he could have bought it at 1,000, and he could have sold it for $7. Just reverse it and start to think about what is your positioning in the market. And when I talk about the alpha traders, because it could have been a completely different story, how many of those guys are there? And we got Angel on top. Amen. What's up, brother? Amen on top. It is that his story is buying at $7.79 and selling some out at 1,000. One of his around 1,000, 889, whatever it was. I'll get the specifics. We have it somewhere in the stream. So that's the difference here. Same thing that I taught to Kenny, alpha traders, etc. And I just bring it up because it's a good success story. It's a great story in terms of before the price action, right? Seeing the wave formation, applying the technicals, and knowing before any of this that, and I'll just do this. Knowing before this, if it'll let me do this real quickly, just based on technicals. Let's see. Yeah, absolutely. When we get into this level of operation, it's the difference. I'm telling you guys, it's the difference of Angel being on top and saying he bought at $7.79 and he sold some out at around eight to nine, let's say around $900, and that being one. And he has the chart. Kenny has the chart. That's so great. I'm sure you do. But understand how important that is as we frame our current operation in the market. As we formulate what we're doing, realize Angel's story could be that he bought at 1,000 and he sold it at $7. Now, whatever the time or whatever the price differentials are at that time, we'd have to, maybe that's not feasible based upon the time frame, etc. But you certainly could have been in a position where you bought at $64,863.10. You could have bought at the top, say 65 grand, preceding all-time high, and you could have sold it at 30. You could have chopped everything in half. Well, I bought it at 65, I sold it at 30. Right? So this is where things are critically important while things are going up. And these are like just success stories that I really pay attention to is, a move like this, right? While there's nothing there. And that's what really the value, and Kenny's a great example of, and I just say this, when you get into spending time with the technicals, I'll just tell you, you have a way of becoming successful. When you focus on the technicals, when you spend a lot of time on things, the market has a way of kind of rewarding you, just kind of technically. And I think, Kenny, you've probably spent a lot of time with the technicals since then. And I'm glad you still have the chart. That's just a huge confirmation. And drawing that out before it occurs, it just looked like this. And getting a little bit of the feedback, it was interesting from the traders, etc. Well, at this point, no, it's going up. No, it's wave formation is going to be heading down. It's page 321, just like a countdown. 3, 2, 1, right? It's just like a countdown in Murphy's book. It just is classic wave formation. So bam to the downside. And just since Kenny's here, I just draw it out what it did look like. That's important that Kenny's here. And Kenny, I hope you're having a great 2022. I hope your dad is well, your family's well. I know a lot of different plans were ongoing at the time. Yeah, I hope everything's going great. Huh? Life throws us curveballs, right? So it just does, right? In terms of the overall entirety of the market, we've missed you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, brother. So as we look at this, and he understood the importance of alpha trading, right? In terms of being like that. And it's just odd that during that training we really went through that dynamic in terms of the pour down of Bitcoin, etc. And it is one thing to say it. It's not when you look at Kenny, as you look at like Angel on top, etc. He's a guy with heavy like iron hands. I talk about that. Vlad is a new VIP. He's really he's got some good hands. Luke is, I see a picture of him, beautiful family right now, and he's got a really strong technical skills. Kent, also another alpha trader, who got that same chart that I drew that out before Bitcoin dropped. And as we would look at that component, like Kenny does understand in terms of investing into his trade game. And it's just nice to see that because so many people just don't want to do that. And what you're investing is like, is it money? It's the money, but you're investing the time. You're investing the the development of knowledge, right? Which it winds up being priceless. You applied in the proper circumstance. It could approach that level in terms of you want to put it could change the whole direction of your career, your life. I mean, you put a dollar figure on it if you want to, but it's really it's nice to see people who want to invest in themselves. Is the bottom line. It's got a dollar attached figure, and that is zero of a sales pitch. I could care less about a sales pitch, but it's honestly nice to see that. It's a sign of like maturity and a sign of like people who want to kind of get things done. All right, and maybe there's a group like doing that, huh? You nailed 6,000% last week. You created this champ. What's up, huh? You rallied 6,000% last week. What is this, Coach? We went from one GPU to 130 GPUs. We 130x the mines. We have 40K per month. Cash flow now running 1 to 2. Terra has end of month. I'm ready to get back in school. Oh, really? That's Kenny for you. Good man. Love to hear it, Kenny. Congratulations. Kenny was just in the process of putting all that together. Just in the process. I remember those, Kenny, I remember those photos that you gave me that were just the one rig, right? Just the one rig on the floor or this or that, huh? Just one little, he bought it here, he put it together there, we're going to do it here. I'm so excited to hear that. Look, Coach, we went from 1 GPU to 130 GPUs. We 130x the mines. We have 40,000 per month cash flow now running 1 to 2 Terra. Has end of month. I'm ready to get back in school. I nailed 6,000% last week. You created this champ. That is so awesome. That is just so awesome. I'm very excited to hear that's what's up. And you're still, because there's more, huh? You certainly do. After this one and the chart we just went through, you're like, absolutely. Because when you had the business instinct to invest in the mining, etc., but it's just nice, huh? After, because he just knows this was there. Yeah, and he's like, nobody's going to take that from me. He still has the chart. But that was, it's just so great to see. It's just so great to see you back here. What do we got here? We did it, boss. Yeah, we did. We got some more photos for you now, working with some developers from the largest mining platforms in the world. That is just so awesome, Kenny. I am so glad you still have that chart from the training, etc. And good things happen, huh? You're just willing to invest in yourself, right? That's a big component of everything that was going on in the time, and I'm just very excited to have been a part of your success story. And these are the crucials, huh? Right? We want to be able to tell where the market's going to the full extent possible. I was explaining to some guys in VIP earlier on tonight about 2008, huh? Laser Rise, I was telling them about 2008 and just the stock market at the time and how I called. I moved to like a 7-figure cash position. I was like 30 odd years old, and I moved to a 7-figure cash position like 4 days before the market went south. For me at the time, it was young 30s or what it was. I was like, that was it's decent, like a 7-figure position, a healthy 7-figure position of anything even tangentially affected by the markets. And then after that, I went around. I would go to the big banks, and I couldn't, any big bank around, I couldn't find anyone on any board of director or anything else who got the market call right. And I had cash, and I'm like, well, I've got like healthy 7-figure position, etc. Like, I need you guys to now manage this for me. The market tanked within 4 days of me going to a full cash position. I told everybody, no. I was like, I've seen the technicals on this, down. I was like, we're going full cash position. They're like, okay, that's fine. We can do that. It was kind of a drastic thing. No one else did it. And so I couldn't find anybody else at the time. The best banks around, I couldn't find anybody. And I got used to their talking to me and saying, I would say, did you guys get the market drop, correct? Did you guys get it right? And they all said, no. And it just, you can see them just kind of loosen their tie a little bit. And each and every one of these big balling corporate studs, none of them got it right. So when we get something right like that, and Kenny's in the house, definitely want to celebrate that with you. Absolutely, because it's the same phenomenon, and people maybe they don't recognize it as such, but it's that big of a deal. So we like to be, we like to be ahead of the game, and it sounds like you're getting way ahead of the game. I want to see those mining operations. Got a lot of people that are interested in what you're doing. A guy called me yesterday. We called. Yesterday I talked with a former guy from military intelligence program school, etc. And he, what did he say? He said, Oh, he's dealing with some nuclear. Interesting, Kenny. Very interesting. He's dealing with some nuclear, former naval nuclear specialists. Okay, naval nuclear specialists, and they're looking at enhancing. They're into mining, and they're looking at enhancing the energy uptake and the energy procedures of the efficiencies of mining. And they're very far into that process. So it's not like it's just out of the box idea. Maybe we'll do this year. No, this is what they're doing. So two naval nuclear specialists in terms of framing that together, and maybe something that can create some synergy. So it's maybe no accident that you stopped by. I'm sure you've been down that road. Yeah, I bet you've been down every road right now in terms of. I mean, you're a very comprehensive guy, so I'm sure you've been through the entirety of that thus far in terms of all the different possibilities. But if that group or any group can provide you with some of that information, you amazing technicals, I have a major resource cap. Have the CMP 170s not available to American market. I have 300 A4000s, 40 3070s, good. 40 3080s, good. 40 AMDs. I need to talk to them. Boss. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, very, very good. Let's do this. And let me put this in here. Boom, 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 boom. Tell me if you get that. Tell me if you just got that, and shoot me a email with the phone with the whatever, and we'll put all the details together. We'll get back at the phone. I can't wait to hear how great things are going in 2022. One of the best things, and Angel and I have been talking about this a lot. One of the best things about 2022, bygones are bygones. It's a brand new year. We're positive. We're upbeat. What happened in 2021 happened in 2021. Right on, huh? And that's exactly what we are. That's exactly what we're in the frame of mind right now. And in terms of being that champion mindset, we're going into 2022. What happened in 2021? And thanks for sending those pictures over, Kent. Appreciate that. What happened in 2021 happened in 2021. Bygones, bygones. We move forward. We move onward and upward, as we would say. And it's just, I'm going to say this. The stress of the market can get to the best of you. Right, I would say you, right? Because, as you look at it, it's like, okay, the market's very stressful for individuals that participate in it. But it's like everyone wants to always say this, like, well, the stress of the market can get to you. It's like, well, it could get to all of us, right? It's that, it's 5 in the morning for the 30th straight day in the month. Yeah, so understand, but that's the inclination. Is like in 2021. Well, the stress of the market got to you. It's like, well, guys, we're all men, right? We are all men, and everybody understands that comment. It's like, it's really funny to say, well, the stress of the market has a way of affecting you. I bet it does. Everybody says. So as we look at that, that's part of the approach that we get to enjoy in 2022. That's 2021. What not we have, what great stories we have to look forward to in 2022, right? And real traders, real men, real businessmen, real savvy individuals get over last year, waste of time. We get into 2022 with some big levels of excitement. So we're excited about that period, right? And that's the frame of mind that we're going into 2022 with, and we wouldn't go into it with any different kind of frame of mind. We just wouldn't. I don't have time to do anything else. We just don't. It's going to be an exciting year. I'm not going to have the group miss another 10x, 1,000x, or 100x, or 50x, whatever it may be. I'm not going to have them miss that because we're still focused on what happened, or where it's just not worth it. It's not what we're going to be doing. So appreciate you sending me some pictures. Thoughts on gaming crypto? Are you bullish on Meta? Possible Shim entering into Meta now with. Yeah, Blizzard, that's good. Microsoft merger, good. I'm ready for war this year, boss. Oh, Angel, how we doing, Angel? He's ready for war this year, boss. Hey, because Angel doesn't know Kenny, huh? Interesting, huh? Interesting. Angel and I had a little discussion today about I don't know, something along those lines in terms of like the battle mentality that's required to get into a frame oneself, kind of appropriately, maybe sometimes around the market. Right. So very interesting statement. That's a la natural right there, huh? Nice, Angel, huh? Angel likes to chill out sometimes. I think he likes to see who shows up. He wants to know what we're going to talk about. Absolutely. Yeah. He's like, well, it's like I joked him the other night about having a pause button on the. I was just joking, Angel. I promise. He's like, you're keeping me up all night long, all morning, because he'll shoot in with $1,000 super chat. And I joked with him the last time. I was like, you think they stay up there because they'll stay up there. $500 will stay up there for a while, and we try and cover additional things. We hang out. We have a good time. We're always chatting, and I really appreciate when he shares his wisdom. It makes a big difference, Angel. So you know that. Love you, brother, and that's the truth. Yeah, the truth, sir. You know that, right? As we would dig into the issue of that. But I joked, and just so you know, Kenny, he's normally hammering down, $500 super chats. That's why he's the $1,000 super chat king. And Kenny, make sure you're watching this on a big screen TV. Make sure you're watching this on a big screen TV. And Vlad, I want to let you know, and Luke, I want to let you know because I know you're probably listening. Kenny's just an alpha trader from the beginning. Okay, he's an alpha trader from the beginning that I taught up how many lessons I taught into getting into this drop, bam, down to, you'll see the chart that I gave him. He still got it, right, bam, down to this level before like because I tell people I called the top of Bitcoin. And they're like, really? They get into questions, this and that. Like Kenny's like, no, I got the chart, bam. So Kenny, and he was putting together a mining operation. Is just going to be incredible to see what he's done in the 6 months, and that all his plans have worked out. I know it's been stressful. I know it hasn't been easy, but he's ready for war in 2022. That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, that's a good mentality around here, without a doubt. So, yeah, Kenny, you got some interesting company around here. I just say that, and it'd be interesting to put you in touch with these Navy nuclear specialists in terms of the overall efficiencies can be created, et cetera. Could be a good issue that they contacted, or a good coincidence that they contacted me yesterday. Very good, very good. So this is going to be interesting right now. Let's go through this line of support. I brought it up last night to the VIP in the back in the DM. Along with the with the notion that we were going, is because I felt we were constricting in this zone. And Kenny, make sure you're on a big screen TV with this. If you're not, I need you to get that done stat, like right now. Like, make it happen, okay? As we looked at this zone in here, okay, this zone in here, I just felt that we were constricting. Yes, we were within this cyclical wave formation here, so I knew we were constricting within this zone. In line with that, we were constricting, I'd say, laterally. Okay, we were constricting from side to side as well, right, in this area. So I gave VIP something along the lines of this, and it was, as you would fashion it differently, etc. How far would you pull this out? Today we expanded what I provided them in the form of essentially, and I'm gonna tell you what it was. I felt like we were towards the corner of a descending triangle. I just did, and I'll bring that up in terms of this. I just felt like, and this was about it was still above 40,000 in this area, but drawing that in, and I drew it above as well, because I felt that we were constricting. We were in the corner, right? And to the extent that there is some sort of an internalized structure. What I wound up doing today was building into this structure with the overall, and it would require the understanding that, and was it necessary? Not. I wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary. I wouldn't say that it was an absolutely like integral pattern had to be discussed. It was more of like, just it was 4 a.m. You go look at the timestamp on it, and like, okay, what is going on in the market? If we look at this, it's 3:50 in the morning. All right, and I'm like, what is going on? There's something going on in here. I had told you guys to stop the stream yesterday, and it's funny, Kenny. I knew you weren't. Or, Kenny, I knew he wasn't on the big screen. I'm like, go get it done. He knows me. I know him. He's a good guy. As we would talk about that, he's probably laughing. As we talk about the constriction of this, okay, and I'll just bring up what I gave them. You'll see this constriction, right, with multiple hits, resistance to a support, frustration in here, resistance. Yeah, this would actually be support, right? Support, depending upon whether it's short or long. Resistance, we'll assume you're long, okay? resistance, support. Okay, a little bit of resistance, we'll say support, assuming you're long. Support, resistance, support. So we have this hugely expressed cross trend line. Cross trend line, why? Because it is the resistance to the support. Copy that. Cross trend line. Resistance to support already. With multiple other features, resistance to support. Resistance, boom, 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 to support. Boom. Okay? So that gave me the indication at 42,000. If you can see 42,000 on the right, that gave me the indication something here is going on. 42,000. And we shot up and sprung up from that to the level that I told you guys yesterday in the stream. I'm like, we're stopping this. I want everybody to go. And sometimes it just gets into coach zone, right? Everybody's got to go right now. I want you all to go draw the top line resistance, because we were in a semi-bullish formation, right? And I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take for this pattern to play out. We were in a competitive ascending triangle on at least 2 time frames. Understand this? In a competitive ascending triangle, bullish, right? On at least 2 time frames. And I'm like, this probably play out. If it does play out to the upside, I want to make sure that VIP, I want to make sure that you guys have this top line resistance. Because the rest of the market wasn't going to be prepared for a move to the upside to say, okay, now we're on resistance. That's it. Everybody else was exuberant. It's going up. It's going to be here we go, right? No. Right, so that's what I wanted to prepare you guys for last night, at least with the understanding of where is our ultimate line of resistance. We woke up, you were at that level. You were at resistance that we called off last night and said, okay, that's it. You guys go do that right now. And when you woke up, if you were still up then, you woke up and you were literally sitting right on the resistance that you had pulled out, that we had come up with together, right? Yeah, so that's good. Now I'm going through just to rewind and recover, just to go through the market. You guys realize this is what it takes to beat the market? It just does, right? And some of you may say, well, I got my own approach, I got my own system, I got my own. Okay, this is the mindset it takes to call the 2008 market 4 days before it crashes. Boom. This is the mindset it takes to call this return to like 30,000 before it happens on Bitcoin. Boom. It just does. Every day slamming into this thing like it's business, like you mean business, okay? So in terms of this internalized feature here, the descending triangle, it's a bearish formation. We had the constriction ongoing, multiple lines. Now, if I expand this up from, and I'm going to be very honest about this, up from this level in here, I really felt, I didn't want to get too aggressive with kind of the new approach of the entirety of, expanding it within the entirety. I can do that now, given the work that we did yesterday. But within this, just to demonstrate this constriction here in this zone, which we've broken down from. Boom. The ultimate point is we broke down from this level. So it became very pertinent to the VIP in the back as I was talking about this specific formation here, right, at 42,000, and it's like, okay, we're talking about a descending triangle in around 42,000. And, the complication is you need to be ready for the upside and the downside, right? You need to not be unidirectional in your thinking in the market. You have to be prepared. Like I said, we're always buying, we're always selling. Where are we buying? Easy, lower prices. Where are we selling? Easy, higher prices. Well, I got caught off guard because it went up. Okay. Are you unidirectional in the market? Is that all you're focused on? I'm thinking one way, right? We're always buying, orders set at lower levels. We're always selling at higher prices. A great place to sell is at a level of resistance. There's no reason not to have, like in this, I'll just tell you, in this market where the resistance has played out like a 10-ton truck, right? Time after time after time. There has not been a lot of reason at all to not sell on resistance. And being ahead of the game, like, okay, everybody off the stream last night, off the stream, everybody, go draw this on your desktops. Go make sure you get this done. You just have to do those things to be ahead of the game enough to understand that when you get there, you're not then, when the price gets there and pops up, you're not then trying to formulate where it is. Right on, huh? You're not then scrambling to come up with your different charts on different time frames, and maybe I'll use the candlesticks, or maybe I'll use the 4 hourly or 1 hourly. No, so being prepped ahead of the game here is a big deal. Scripted out like with Kenny to literally drawing this down, boom, before is along the same lines of thinking, right? To the extent that we can let's see this, if that will dun 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 dun. Well, we'll see what that wants to do. To the extent that to the extent that it still accommodates a reasonable approach to the market, let's say that, right? And it's not all, because I'll just tell you one thing. Another thing will be the phenomenon if we go through this type of, and Kenny knows this probably, because we spent time on this. But if I go through this type of a prognostication with Kenny, and it was really, let's just do this. Let's be accurate, and we'll go through what it was. But if we go through this level of a prognostication on things ahead of time enough, people will start to. We're the only person today on YouTube who hasn't had their soul crushed today. So many Moon Boys back to McDonald in the morning, VIP here doing it, work. I love it. Yeah. That's true. Soldier. We got to be a soldier, huh? That's a good thing. Absolutely. And no, we spent time last night talking about value at lower levels. I was very adamant about the fact that we like lower prices. And I said, if and when, and we hope they do, I said, when they go lower, we are not going to be phased at all. Like a national champion football coach, military drill sergeant, whatever you want to call it, literally telling you guys last night, no. This group, different. When it goes lower, we see value. We know there's value. Not, okay, we're going to respond to the market and, well, let's go ahead and talk about the benefit of it, and, well, we'll paint a pearly white picture with this today because we kind of have to. No, not at all. Not at all. That's not how we roll. We're more forcefully inclined to hammer into lower levels because we see value. That's what we wait for. If it doesn't go down to our levels, everyone has to explain, well, it went to the Fibonacci this, and it went to the... No, we schedule in heavy-duty orders. We compound down at lower levels. Like, saying you call this is one thing before the price action, that's Bitcoin in 2021 before the big drop, right? And you'll notice the Chinese news, the liquidation by Elon, the different, the different, unpredictables all fit perfectly within the technical analysis. Beautifully well, right? Absolutely. Well, Elon going to test the liquidation down to the first level of the Fibonacci. Bam. Right? Precision controlled, like pricing dynamics. Period. Precision controlled pricing dynamics. Liquidation to the Fibonacci. Bam. Hammer down. So what thereafter? What I will say is, if we get too far ahead of the game, because that's the other question. It's like, well, great, we're prepared for this morning. We were prepared. You prepared your alpha traders for this move down, and was it et cetera down to it's confluent with this move here. That's inaccurate. That wasn't there at the time. So, but if you say you prepared alpha traders for that, it's like, well, why don't you just, why don't we just come up with the next real big move, what we're going to do? To the extent that becomes feasibly possible, and can I just say feasibly possible? Because it is a lot of work. Okay, it's a lot of work. Not that it's ever impossible, right? I'm not going to say that. But to the extent that becomes feasible or possible even to distribute that to a good group, etc., like you guys are a great group, and I'm never going to withhold anything necessarily from you. That's not the idea. But you have to understand that you will start to play heavier than you ever really thought that you shouldn't, and your family and friends know that you never should, right? Okay? You will start to play heavier into moves like this. I'm just going to tell you, yep. And Kenny's like, yep. Because, well, you show someone this before, it really happened. Well, you're already, literally into 80% of what you are and what you have, because this is your Gulf Stream. Ah, okay. This is your island. Oh, okay. This is your, I need a new house in Hawaii. Just this one time. I'm telling you guys. And when you slug away at things like that, sometimes the market has a weird way of not really liking it. Not me, not the technicals, but sometimes the market has a way of not really liking it. I'm just going to tell you, they love to hand out multiple tens or 20, 100, or hundreds of millions of dollars. They just love to do that. Just remind yourself that I said that if you really start playing with heavy, heavy cash on things like that, heavy, heavy cash, and you can have heavy hands. Just understand, sometimes the market won't like it. The market may not be into you just killing it and crushing it all the time. Okay? It just may not be into that. Sometimes, maybe they want to create the next Angel Matos. Maybe every now and then. Maybe, huh? Maybe we reserve those times. I don't know. Maybe those are special times, right? Those are good stories. So are these. And they're all true. They're good. But we just roll with the punches to the extent that it's I don't like seeing people roll too heavily around me. And I'm just going to say that in terms of, like, you got your heavy hands, you got the way that you're involved in the market. But when there's too many zeros after what we say is next move, I want the zeros down here. Okay, that's where I like the zeros, is heavy reserve cash, heavy reserve capital. I like this to continue to be fun. I like this to continue to be profitable and enjoyable. Why? Because there's also a psychological element to this. There's also the element of people making extraordinary amounts of money or losing money. And it's one thing to say, no, I got the heavy hands, it's going to work, this is what I do, this is fine, I'm going to gut through it. If that happens, if you're 99% convinced it won't happen, and if for whatever reason it decides to, and I'm talking about world cataclysm, something along the lines of, no, the whole market shut down for 3 weeks, man. No, the stock exchange shut down for 3 weeks, man. Right? Something we're not going to just absolutely say. It'll probably be in line with the technicals. Still. But your psychology, your mindset, when you have more zeros up here, right? When these are stacks of your zeros, your psychology here is palpably different. It is different to me, okay? When it goes from here to here to here to here to here to here. When it does that, you may be making money. I deal with traders. I deal with you guys. It's tangibly different when you are so heavily involved up here, and you've got, even if you got, I'm going to say, and I can't back you guys down, like that's not the point. But even if you got like this, whatever your example is, when let's say you let it ride up on top on the chart I gave the alpha traders. All right, it's a short. It's easy. That's a short. London's talking about a short. We're going to do the short. Boom. Right? When you do that and it goes to here and this compounds into something that looks like this, it's like that. Whoa, yes, that is your reserve. Okay, you did it. Whatever that does to you psychologically, just understand, I've been around traders for a long time. When that happens, I see you guys change between here and the next up here and the next down here. And it's not always good. I have to be honest. It's not always good. And I'm not the judge of good and bad and everything else. But it's like, all right, he's been driving a Ferrari on the street. That's good. Let's put him in let's put him in tomorrow in a Formula One car. Let's put him in a Formula One Ferrari tomorrow. And I want him to race the world champions, and we're going to do that. And we're going to put him on live TV. Okay? Honestly, that's the best example that I could probably give you guys. That's just it. So in terms of the big moves, you guys, you're going to have them. They're going to occur. Look at Kenny with a 6,000% last week, etc. You're going to have them. But I don't like throwing guys who are driving Ferraris into Formula One cars. I just don't. I don't. And when I know that some of you want to drive the Formula One car, I just don't. You want to drive, you tell me. You tell me how to shift the gears. How about that? A little bit of that. That's even fair. You tell me a little bit as a good group. We got great stuff going on, always have. You tell me a little bit based on your research how you want to shift the gears. Fair? I think that's a good group dynamic. I think it's good. That ain't me backing down at all. That's me saying we want to roll around the track. Let's do it. You want to go 200 plus miles an hour? Let's do it. You want to handle 5Gs? Let's do it. On acceleration versus on what? Huh? On acceleration versus braking. 5Gs and on the corners. You got a neck ready for that, huh? You got a neck ready for that? You don't even know what I'm talking about. Do you have a neck ready for that? What do you mean a neck ready for that? You're going to be pulling 5Gs, man. You're going to be in a Formula One race car. You ever pulled a corner at 5Gs? Okay, I've just, you don't know what that does to your neck. You ever seen a race car driver? Look at a Formula One race car driver. What has he got? He's got a neck as big as your thigh. Just boom, powered out neck. Why? Because he's handling 5Gs around the corners. 5Gs around the corners. You know what it takes to keep your head in an upright position to where you can see the track? I bring this up because there's different stresses that you don't know what's going on in terms of, well, man, I'm telling you guys, the difference between, and the analogy is there, the difference between, we're gonna go in heavy like this on a short, London says, let's do it, assume everything's right, boom, boom. And you're showing up at this level like this with your cash. And Kenny, I'm really excited to hear about the story in terms of how your mining operation has evolved over the course of several months. Not just a boom. And green means green, okay? So a little bit of form and function into kind of the process here. Not to scale it down, but like Kenny knows, right? I mean, Kenny, and I'm just bringing this up because Kenny, you do know, right? In terms of like, no, the chart was there, this and that. Absolutely you could have made an incalculable amount of money potentially with this boom, right? So to that extent that like, well, I never really thought about the, if you're going around a track at 200 miles an hour and you're pulling 4 to 5 Gs around a corner, okay, your neck, yeah. There's different stresses in driving the Formula One car as opposed to driving out on the streets. You're going to pull, 1.2 Gs or something like that, maybe max on a Ferrari on the road out here. You're going to pull like 4 to 5 on a Formula One car. So there's different stresses that go on with you mentally also in terms of your participation in the market. I've seen it affect people physically, mentally, their health, their families, everything, guys. So I try and just keep that. I don't need to be like some supered out coach or this or that or anything else. Not, but I've just been around the market. So have you guys? You been around people who've made too much money? Have you? Have you seen that dynamic transpire? Have you seen them lose the money? It's a big deal. I see people make money and lose money. We do in the market a lot. This group, and those dynamics play out in 2022 to the extent that we can at least have the discussion. I'm open for discussion with you guys, but to the extent that we can have a discussion about how that, or at least frame 2022, that we don't want to have those, almost kind of break your neck on the track kind of deal, meaning, hey, we weren't really prepared for this. We weren't really prepared for. Just understand there's different. When you take when the and it's just funny because when the market does take turns, that when it takes a turn in a direction, I see different people show back up than and you guys know this for 2022 a little bit, but we're gonna try and get through that this year a little differently because we're a little bit better prepared for it. I'll just say that we're a little bit better prepared for it. And here Kenny says, I wouldn't have been able to handle that type of money that soon. I need these losses to create, I need those losses, okay, to create a tougher will and resolve. I'm beaten but not broken, right? I'm ready for that life-changing money. See? And you're going to show up, and now you're ready for it. Now you're ready for it. Well, and if you get it, though, you don't know how it changes your life. And the thing is, ultimately, we know there's something else involved, right? Ultimately, in terms of how that does affect you, how that does. And I just tell you, you'll be in front of the answer sometimes, and you still won't see it. And that's the other thing. And I can say it 50 times. I can even say, go do this trade now. And if you're not ready to receive it, you won't do it. No, that's the wrong trade. No, that's it'll be, and it'll just, it has a way of doing things, or you'll get distracted in this regard or that regard. So the idea is that we know 2021 is just going to be like nice. It's going to be a nice year, right? And it's going to outdo whatever it is, where it's going to outdo 2020, the year before, and then the next year is going to outdo the year before, and the next year is going to outdo the year before. And we're just going to keep here, we're going to keep building. And we're going to keep stepping things up. And to the extent that that includes, right, and these are, your bottom line, and that ledger just starts filling up with additional, right? And they're all entries from your earnings and everything else beautiful. But what if those are years? And what if those years are additional zeros? Instead of, I want to add 5 zeros right now to my net worth. Take some time. Enjoy the company, right? Take some time. Enjoy the company in terms of that you keep here, etc., with your family. Let them adjust to it. Let everybody kind of adjust to it, because crypto can do that. And I made the comment, I did make the comment earlier, so I think it's apropos a little bit. It's worth our repeating that Bitcoin is not necessarily making on a very rapid basis more money than people can spend. And it sounds cheap, because we would all change that to more money than you could invest. Okay, more. I wouldn't spend it. I would reinvest it. However you want to qualify that statement. More money than you can handle or deal with. It's not necessarily doing that right now. It could. Some of that would depend upon how you're managing your trades. Some of it might not. There could be a phenomenon that this group were to run into, and I've seen it happen with other groups. I've seen it happen with certain groups where people have just so much excess profit, they don't know, there's nothing else more they could really do with it. That's not a problem. It's just kind of a phenomenon. It doesn't happen that frequently, but it could happen definitely to this group. I'm open to that possibility. If and when that does occur, we don't want it to be absolute shambles everywhere. We want to be solidly framed mentally. Not just the nice talk and, oh, no, we know what's really important. Oh, yeah, London, we know what's important. Or, hey, Kenny, don't worry. It's not going to be cheap talk with me. With Angel. With Jason's Lit. With Josh. With Kuda. With AJ Crypto. With Luke. With Freddie. With Ryan. With Daniel. With nobody is it going to be cheap talk with me. So, with Vlad, I mean, if you guys had seen what all I have seen, you would understand why I'm having this discussion a little bit, okay? Because I've seen, it has an impact on people, and as much as this, we realized at the beginning of this year, I'll bring up the best example I know, and I'll shout out to Big B. What's up, brother? Okay, Big B. I call him Big B. A longtime friend of mine. He's with the company now, and his company is he's with the company. Whatever. He's got it's like a $500 million deal. Okay, $500 million deal. Beautiful deal. Crypto, facilitating exchanges. I give him a hard time because he wanted to know when to buy and what to do. Okay, you want to trade this, you want to do this. Oh, I got it covered. I got it covered. You sure you got it covered? Right? This and this. Well, you sure? Hey, if you got it covered, B, you go ahead and cover that. You go ahead. You do that, right? Problem. Okay, so we had a little bit of difference opinion in terms of the market, and they could have made some good money. They decided not to really listen to me. That's okay. We kind of jab back and forth about it. I give him a hard time. Mr. $500 million doesn't want to listen. Okay, it was one of these circumstances. Boom, down. He got exactly that. Okay, just within $30, guys. He got within $30. This within $30. Okay, $30. Boom. He's got the chart. Like Kenny has the chart on this. He had within $30 this right here. He didn't want to pay attention to it. Yeah. Mr. I'm just going to say Mr. 500 million. The overall investment, the amount, whatever, that's his business, okay, in terms of where he is. But then what happened? Well, amidst all of that, was it time to buy now? Should I know you had within $30, man. You wanna go do your deal? You do your own deal, right? Now, we got into this, right? And he's a good enough friend. We can kind of do that and still stay in touch and still rally around that and have a good time. But what does he do? Well, then he calls me. He texts me back, and this is the nature of our friendship, like the real deal, right? He just tells me after that he texts me the other day, and his mother passed away. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have anything to do with this. It does, right? And we don't want to make, we don't change our structure based upon life events like that. That's not what we planned for. But it's just 2022 has already shown us the importance of relationships. Health issues kind of popped up a few times 2021. Like, guys, across the board with what's going on in terms of transformation and everything else, the relationships have to be the core of this whole thing. So, yeah, the money's going to be there 2022, right? Get to where you're going more quickly. Get to our pricing targets. Like, get down. It's like, what is it? Just military squadron. Get down. It's like, if that's what's going to need to be, get down, right? We talked last night about wanting lower prices. That's where we thrive, okay? And part of the reason is this. Let's talk about this. I did want to bring this up. Just some side commentary so you guys know who we are. We're just not a joke. We're just not. I've dealt with people who've done extremely well, and I've dealt with these issues throughout the year. I wouldn't just be talking for no reason. I guarantee you on these issues, guys. And if you go through them later on, you know one thing. You always call me back. And know something else, I never give up on a trader. Ever. Okay? I never give up on a trader. Okay? Always remember that. I never give up on a trader, okay? Because you're gonna, if you go out there and you start killing it on your own, and it's the next big thing and everything else, don't worry, it's happened before, and I never give up on a trader. Okay? Remember, I said that right now. Okay? Deal. Everybody, deal. Just say deal. Deal. Okay. Now, amplitude moves. We did derivative gain. Right? We talked about derivative gain analysis. GAIN analysis. Stacking flags. We take the flag, pull, right? Just the height measurement, amplitude, bam, we stack it, okay? We take it, bam, we stack it. We take it, bam, we stack it, okay? Now, what's the benefit of the dynamic that you're seeing right now in play from a lower price? What's the advantage? Why do we want to be at a lower price? Some of you know the answer immediately. Of the dynamic of the repeat amplitude that's in play. The condition of the price and whether or not it decides to structure new ones or not, we can get into that. When I'm talking about a repeat condition of the same move in price, what is the advantage of us going down, or what's the necessity? Why is it necessary? Well, it's not necessary. We just need to keep going up. Oh, okay. You sure? You're positive, right? I want to make sure that you guys that you're positive that we just need to keep going up. Okay? What's this right here? Same move, same amplitude is what? December, January 2021 is 131%. 131%. Well, we just need to keep going up. Oh, okay. We just need to keep going up, huh? Yeah, we just need to keep going up. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that we just need to keep going up. Right? Same amplitude move, right? Yeah. Same amplitude move. All right. Well, let's check it out. Let's take a look at it. And we're up here where we need to be going. That's only, what is that, guys? What is that? 1, 2, 3. That's only $196,000. That's $200,000 Bitcoin, no problem. Now, what was it, December, January? Same amplitude move right here. It was 130%. Okay, cool. 131%. Boom. What do we get, guys? What do we get? Somebody guess. You can't see it. Somebody guess. 13%. Hello? Hello? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. But this is the group that wants to make all this money, you see. Oh, I see. I see. So they want to make all this money. Huh? Now you can talk about what the difference between here and this. It takes time to get up there. You want it to rocket from here to there. It hasn't expressed limitation thus far in terms of its preference of bullish moves, the amplitude. So the same, I'll bring it down here, the same amplitude move at this level up around $200,000 is 13%, man. Bring it down and stack it below. Take some time to get there. And it's what? Well, it's 130%. Yeah, but London, I want to multiply my money. Okay. Now, we can talk about some accelerated functions from here to there. We can talk about, yes, to this, to that. But right now I'm talking about what we have to deal with. We've got 4 flags, man. I say, men, we have 4 flags. We have an incentive to get down here. And we can talk about a time equation. We could talk about it, and we can absolutely calculate it. How much time is it going to take to get up there? Because very quickly in the calculatives, you will start saying, hold on. Now, I understand, like, unless it was just literally like, rocket, intergalactic rocket patterning. Literally, guys, you're going to, in the calculatives, real quickly, you're going to start, hold on. You're going to say, just stop real quickly. Just put it right here. Okay? I appreciate that. That's nice. But, I mean, in terms of normal pattern behavior and the time, I got to tell you, just put this thing right back here. I want to do this again. If you start to work the calculatives, if you start to work the range, if you start to work things out, you'll get not too far down the road. You'll be like, look, I get it, but because I like to trade, okay? So what I want you to do, I want you to put this right back here. Just go ahead and come down here, and I want to put one of these right back here. I like the 130 to 140%. To tell you the truth, I just like that, okay? You'll get there, start doing that. Because, well, everybody wants $150,000 Bitcoin. Everyone wants $200,000 Bitcoin. Well, at some point, you're going to be forced to reckon with the fact that that's going to mean over the duration of, and let's go back to this. This will be good. Over the duration of 70 days up there, you're going to be making 13%. Okay? That's how long, that's the breadth of that flag right there that you're looking at in the middle of the screen. This right here is 71 days. So you want to make 13% over 71 days? Start wrapping your mind around, well, if we could come back down and this and that, I wouldn't mind making, you wouldn't mind making 140% over 70 days. So as we deal with like derivative gain and loss, etc., this accomplishes the function of resetting our gain potential, of resetting our profit model. The moves to the upside mean more. You say, well, I've lost. We just lost getting down here. Well, you're entering a zone where the moves to the upside mean a lot more. Copy that. You guys got that, huh? Yeah. Okay? The lower you are on price, the same move is a bigger percentage. $1 on $10, $1 on $10 is a lot more than $1 on $100, right? Copy that, okay? So that's the advantage of what we're currently accomplishing in the market, albeit something that the rest of the market doesn't see any of this as an accomplishment. That is correct. And we do. Right on. Okay? That's a big difference. People don't go through that. We do. We care about stuff like that, right? Absolutely. So, long-term crude holdings, store of value. Okay, great. Let's see what the Fed wants to do. They reared up today with this white paper. They talked about it last summer. Was it Jared? I don't know, somebody in the Trump, I have no idea, some Christians. I don't know what the deal was. He wanted to do something with some digital currency, had some plans with Trump. I have no idea what all that was about. Very interesting, very interesting. But, so they talked about it and shuffled it around with government involvement, digital currency, everything else like that, right? Personal agendas here and there, whatever's going on. But the, CBDC, central bank, digital currency, Fed white paper, boom. All right. Russia, boom. On the same day, kind of strange, huh? I'm just going to say it's an interesting coordination in terms of maybe the news just announced the news at the same time. But the Central Bank of Russia is saying maybe is a formal proposal to ban crypto and ban mining. Извините. Я русский. That's how you say, excuse me, I'm Russian. I am not Russian, but that's okay. You can deal with the English or the Russian version of what I just said. Hopefully, if you speak Russian. Yeah, I studied Russian if you study Russian for 4 weeks, you should be able to read the front page of the Moscow Times. And it's very nice to be able to do that. I spent 4 weeks learning Russian, and then I was able to read a good portion of the front page of the Moscow Times and some of the other portions. I really enjoyed Russian. I look forward to spending more time in studies on Russian. Because I like to conquer things like that, like the alphabet. Like I like to be able to read Russian. I like that. I enjoy that. Very interesting. I like the language a lot, and I think there's a lot of Russia's a nuclear partner. Hey, that's cool. No problem with that. Has been for decades. Don't believe all the spill out public media you see. Bad guys. They're nuclear partners. They have been for decades. Like 30, 40, 50, however many years they've been nuclear partners, right? So always gauge what you see, or just I don't know, learn that other side of the coin. As we're going down into this, we were talking a bit specifically and technically about this underlying, and I'm not pro Russia, China, and he's a sympathizer. I wouldn't know what that would look like. I don't think these nations need empathizers or outside supporters. I'm not, I just don't even know what that would look like, to tell you the truth. I'm a normal human being. I know history. That probably differentiates me from some other individuals. So as we would look at this in terms of just publicly available treaties, like a nuclear treaty, look it up on the Department of State website. The people in the Department of State will have a different tune. So as we would look at this, understand we were talking about the differentiation on this blue line, 5 minutes. The cut in across the blue line on is also the support on the 5 minute here, detailing out, and it looks like we're about picking up at that level that we discussed earlier on. For those of you who are kind of just chilling out, probably trading, just got side view on with the big screen. Boom, there we go. That's nice. That's exactly the blue line that we drew earlier on, based upon the line. Nice pickup, huh? Based upon the line from the 5 minute chart and the trend line of the 5 minute chart that was lined up with the actual price line and not the candle, because that was, as you're in the different time frames right now, it's one of the key focals to look at, because we have this big pour down December 3rd, right? So that's going to differentiate which trend line are you picking up here, because we have different angles to go from. We have different angles to start at. The 5 minute just played in line with the analysis that we've done, right? And it could have been there to push down, to go up, but we're going up in the right direction. And we could have just drawn straight to it. Next time we'll try and not predict it as much. Maybe we'll just draw straight to wherever we're at. What do we got here? And on the, Let me see. In terms of yeah, side. I'll need to check for Kenny. Anybody else in the crowd around? Let's see what we got. And Kenny, this is nice. We really are keeping these very exclusive. You need to know that. Like people will come into the chat, and I just remove people all the time. I remove them. They'll come into the chat, and I just literally just one by one. YouTube will send them in, and I will just remove them. It's just the truth. So let's see. Did you send it to the kingdom@mail.com? I think I did send that to you. The kingdom@mail.com. The kingdom@mail.com. Let me check my spam one time, but I want to check this out because he's sending me some mining operations, some other cool stuff. Glad that really went well. Let me see email, and let me see if I've got. There we go. I got it. 10-4. Copy that. Hey. We are good. Copy that. We'll respond soon. And stream. Blessings. Loud. Big time in 2022. There we go. So there you go. There's a reply back to your email. We'll stay in touch on that. Very nice to have you in communication. But just to update you on the channel, we're not. I'll stream tonight. They'll catch up on it tomorrow. Some people, VIP here and there. We got guys all over the world. We got traders in 20, 30 countries, And to the extent that we've kept them, some we haven't kept. Some people have had their own agendas or other things, or have hijacked our information and spread it through Hong Kong protocol, Facebooks, or whatever's going on. Nah, they took. I didn't tell you this, Ken. They took. Someone infiltrated our group and started teaching alpha traders over in Hong Kong. I'm like, oh man, come on, dude. I was like, you don't even know what alpha is. You're gonna go. Literally, I was like, I think I was being streamed live over in Hong Kong or whatever's going on. I'm like, come on, man, that's just uncool, bro. So anyway, we kick him out. Some people just got, they're not into the. Some people don't have the staying power. It's not necessarily. Intuitive. You really have to, a horse. When a horse, have you guys been on a horse? When it really starts to gallop, right? There's like another gear on a horse. It's real bumpy and it's this and that. It's when it's trotting around, it's like this is just awful. And then you can start to canter to kind of go back and forth. Like okay, some people can kind of go along. When you have that next level gear. Like a horse, like it can just start to run. If you've been on a horse when it gallops, and if you haven't, whatever you've done in life, if you have not been on a horse when it's really running and galloping full speed, you don't know what it's like to ride a horse. You just don't. It's full speed. It's smooth as overdrive in the nicest luxury vehicle you can get in. Believe it or not, it just perfect. So if you've never been on a horse that's running full speed, just literally nicest luxury vehicle you can get into. If you haven't done that on a horse, go do it. Go gallop on a horse. Have it run full speed while you're on it. If you haven't done that, it's just the analogy I'll make. People have that gear in the market. Okay? You do. VIP does. Not everybody does. People think they do or they will. And if you don't know the analogy, if you haven't done that with a horse, write it down and go do it within a week if you can. Literally, I'm serious. This week, go do that. And you'll be, and if you understand that's what you need to be like, you need to have that gear for trading, you'll be like, holy cow, man. Okay. It doesn't sound like much. Try it. Go do it. Just try it. Go run full speed on a horse. Look, well, I've had it, if you don't know what I'm talking, if you haven't galloped on a horse, if you haven't had a horse gallop, for those of you who have, you already agree. Yeah? You already know. You have to have that extra gear in the market. And it's a great analogy because it's smooth. It is smooth. 100%. And it's powerful. It's exactly where it feels like the horse is designed to operate. And everything else is like just junk, huh? It's just like there's people that just operate in that other mode. And they don't have that top level gear. That's what we are about here. That top level gear, yeah, absolutely. So if you haven't done that, if you haven't ridden full speed on a horse, go do it. it'll change the way you think about a lot of things. Go do that. It's a great analogy. It's an important analogy. So, dealing with the residual here, we're going down into some pricing targets. That's fine, down 3.76%, 39,143. We hit perfectly into this drop down zone from the previous, just that wave formation we were talking about. Looking like we're going to break up out of it. This previous, just the constriction, same pattern we were showing last night. And what do? We just, you see that fold over, bam, down into, boom, right? Beautifully done. Fold over, down into, boom. Because that was mean, right? That's kind of a mean move, huh? You have to admit, for the people who were not well, it's like, I should be careful a little bit what I draw on the screen, maybe, because then you're gonna don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. This wave formation, the constriction, the range, etc. That was indicated. Do not long and short this part here. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say don't long and short this specific line. You don't. To the extent that it's indicated, let me say this: to the extent that it's indicated, and you can justify it technically, then roll with it. But if you don't understand what's going on technically with it, don't just jump into that specific that race without the prep. Okay, don't specifically do that. Okay, but yeah, that was an aggressive move down. Let's go into, let's see, and we're along this line of support, which is headed down to the 50% retracement. And I feel comfortable saying that to the 50% retracement. Thus far, I may refine that a little bit as we get into it, but still operating within this wedge formation. I still like the pattern. I like it because it's defined. We have a clear cyclical price action ongoing. Clearly indicated cyclical price action ongoing. And the risk to me, or the benefit to me, or to us as a group, is that we would get to potentially break down from this and enter into some pricing targets and have some heavier orders filled. That'd be nice. Directionally speaking, like with Kenny, like bam, okay, that's a huge short opportunity. That's where the market's going, period, bam. It's not bad in terms of programming your trade station to do what you want it to do, to develop your pricing targets and go through the process of acquisition at lower prices, and to set up and structure your orders. That is a good exercise to go through. Buy on support, sell at resistance, trade patterns, and hit your targets. And not much changes, right? Buy at support, sell at resistance. We say that all the time. We do. We're always buying, always selling. Always buying where? Lower. So it's just not that complicated, but it's important for you guys to go through, structure up your, and you'll get a preference on your exchanges. Well, I like this exchange. I don't like this exchange. So maybe you're into, well, this one will let me do 100x, so, that's all I care about. Okay, that's fine. Some of you, I think you guys will evolve over the years to come. So it's about 2:42 a.m. I'm going to go to the back for a little while, and I'm going to read what Kenny wrote me. And Kenny, I'm excited that you still have that chart from the all-time high, this big pour down there before it poured down. So that's a big confirmation back. I know. I think Kent has his too. That's pretty cool. You guys are old school, and I look forward to getting back in touch with you. And guys, what I'll say about the price action, just focus on your targets. I want to see what you guys do. Vlad, I'm waiting to hear about your trades, brother. I'm waiting to hear about your trades. Where are you at? You got to let me know in the back where you're trading. You felt a little recovery was in play. Hopefully this has added a little bit of structure to that. I think the fallout. We'll see if we have an opportunity. It'd be nice to see a recovery. The return to function. Nobody else is talking about those. We are. And it's cool. But I like this patterning. I'm just going to continue to say and let you guys know I like this patterning. The overall line of support here from the initiation of the price trend, there's two of these that I want you to consider, each of which has been broken. Danger zone, right? For anyone wanting to hold this trend line. I brought that up last night. We have definitely broken down from that trend line. That was a major, quote unquote, I'd say, what would you say, hit on the market. And I really didn't bring it up until we kind of cranked up from it, and then we broke down from it. So we haven't discussed this line a lot. It's on the 4 hourly right now. It's like we got a good reaction. I brought it up, and bam, we hit to the upside on it. We have broken down from it. The one line here from the very incipiency start of the trend would be this baseline function here. I'm not opposed to drawing it at the base of the first bullish formation, the base tucked up right here, okay? Boom. Note this level as you draw these on all of your charts. Note this as an option, please. Not just the base formation here, the actual structure and the initiation of the trend, but at the base of the formation of the first bullish pattern. Note this, please, and look at it as an alternative to your drawing from the absolute bottom. I've seen the chart specialist on CNBC not do that continually. I like to look at this line here. I just do. And at least to look at it. I think you'll be impressed with how many times it seems to play out. If you start to look at it, it may or may not here, but start to look at that expression. This is a line which will evolve, clearly. And on the different time frames, we will have multiple opportunities to address multiple lines if and when and as we continue to find value. And again, if any disappointment after this specific talk of you want 12% over 70 days up there? You want to go up there and get 12% over 70 days? Well, all right. So this is accomplishing something in terms of the percentage gain, particularly if you like to trade on leverage. Particularly, copy that, huh? Yeah. So we are accomplishing something right now. It may not feel like, well, it's all bad news. It's regulation. They're going to take away Bitcoin and Russia. What, guys? We're accomplishing 140% potential as we retrace in terms of the expressed amplitude possibilities here, pattern formations. And it may be a different pattern that wants to repeat. We'll find what's repeating or not. We have sub-patterns here. But we like that amplitude gives us a greater gain from a lower price. So we're watching this specific line get broken in line with a still composed descending wedge. You have your price targets, you have it all, and you're the number one group that I know, period. That's just the truth. So it's nice to be able to interact with you, and it's a pleasure, and I'm humbled the fact that, like I said, I've been selective in the VIP, but you all need to know that you actually would have been selected for some important group. You know that. I mean, you're competitive enough in what you do. You would have been selected. Now, I did not select you, but I'm selective in the same context. It's just maybe what would we say? Like it's exclusive, you know. It's a select. You're a very selective group, right? You're select, right? It's a selective group, and I guess we can say that in terms of the function, like a moderator would select which comments he wants in and out of a chat, right? To the same extent, I decide which VIPs are going to be or not, because some of them don't want to be, and they just think they want to show up and they want to multiply their account by 5 or 10, and some do, and then still, you know, they don't want to be well regarded. They don't want to fit into the framework of something that's really successful on the whole, and that's just not our vision, right? We want to be all the way around really successful in everything we do, right? Just a different kind of group, different, all cylinders firing kind of deal, and no wimps here. That's just it. Just no wimps here. The market is tough enough, so we don't recruit. It just the wimpy woe is me kind of deal. We just don't put up with it. You guys are a strong group, and it's 2022 war time in terms of the market. People thinking that a lot. I'm getting that vibe, right? Time to battle, right? We're gonna get down to the good stuff, and the further we can get down, the good stuff is just staring us in the face. Remember what I did say earlier this week was time. The one thing to flip momentum just requires time. That is the equation that you don't think about enough. It's time. Okay, time's required to flip momentum. It'll flip. From what point and at what how long will it take to flip? That's the key component. We don't always think about that. So let's continue to watch this pattern. We're still within pattern formation. You guys know the return to function, absolutely. So we're ready to trade. We are trading actively. Booked a trade yesterday. This morning I booked a trade, and then looking forward to booking another one soon. Hope you guys are too. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Appreciate you being in the stream. Shout out to Angel, to Josh, to Kenny in the house, to Vlad, to Luke, to everybody else. And if you're watching this the next day, thank you for going through our stream. I try and keep this a little bit, unless we're really ragtagging back and forth. I try and keep them a little bit less in terms of the overall length if I know the guys are going to be watching them the next day. So I've done this for you a bit. And we're not skipping anything. I'll be in the back in a little bit, guys. And thanks so much for being a part of the VIP. You guys are numero uno. And shout out to Freddie as well. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. This is London with Crypto Kingdom and Bitcoin Spike. You guys take care of yourself. Remember, eat well, sleep well, and what? Remember to invest in those relationships that you